Chapter 667. Remember that feeling just now? Shit, shit, shit. Am I crazy? I actually found a guy cute. Am I gay? Gong-su quickly rubbed his face to wake himself up. However, when he thought about that scene just now, he was immediately immersed in pink bubbles. While Luo-chun, Gong-su, and the two assistants were amazed by the scene, Yi Wanwan had already returned to her usual cold self and nodded in satisfaction. Very good, this was much better. Just take note of your emotions, and it'll be perfect. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door and one of the crew members, Xiao-chun, came with a reminder. Luo-chun, filming has started. Go on. Remember that feeling just now? Yi Wanwan reminded him. Okay. Luo-chun finally returned to his senses. He wasn't sure why, but he didn't dare to look straight at Yi Bai, and he quickly left with his assistant. Let's go. We'll watch him together. Since you're here, take this chance to learn something, Yi Wanwan said to Gong-su. However, Gong-su stood rooted to the ground in a daze. What is it? Yi Wanwan tapped his shoulder. Gong-su jumped like he'd just gotten electrocuted. Yi Wanwan looked at him strangely. Gong-su swallowed and hurriedly said, nothing. I'm fine. Shit. This is crazy. Crazy. My heart actually skipped a beat for a man and I was enchanted. What's worse is that this guy is I'm simply a beast. It must be because I haven't dated for so long. It must be. Shortly after, filming began. The crew chatted with one another like they didn't expect much from Luo-chun, while a couple artists from Emperor Sky had smug looks and looked like they were waiting for a good show. The actress playing the role of Meng Xiaoro and Qingqing, Liang Yu, was also getting impatient. 3, 2, 1. Action. In the woods, Meng Xiaoro raised her head shyly and made her confession. Achin, I like you. In the next second, the camera quickly switched to zoom in on Luo-chun's expression. In the recording, Lin Luo-chun was shocked at first before his expression became complex. He knew she was a disciple from his rival sect, yet he still couldn't hold back his feelings for her. This great devil, who already lost all human emotion and rejected love, finally revealed his young and inexperienced teenager self, revealing his true self. Song Jin-lin kept staring at the video recorder seriously and revealed a surprised look on his face. Then he came back to his senses and yelled, "Very good. Pass." Luo-chun heaved a sigh of relief and bowed to thank everyone. Thank you, director. Thank you, everyone. Sorry I caused so much inconvenience. No problem. No problem. Nobody is able to always be in top shape all the time. That's right. You did very well just now. Keep it up. Everyone encouraged him, one after another. Yi Wanwan knew Luo-chun wasn't great at socializing, so she had been getting Xiao-qing to build a good relationship with the production crew. Although he kept getting NG these few days and caused everyone to feel quite frustrated, the crew's impression of Luo-chun wasn't that bad, so they didn't really mind his acting struggles. At this moment, Xiao-qing acted according to Yi Wanwan's instructions and tactfully said, "It's been hard on everyone, so Luo-chun will be treating us to a meal today. We've ordered takeaway from Jade Pavilion. We also have some small gifts. Please accept them." With food and drinks, nobody had any complaints and they were all smiles as they gave their thanks. Wan Shanshan glared at Luo-chun and the others with gritted teeth. After that, as she saw that the Weibo post she uploaded was getting more and more shares and comments, she sneered, "This group of people is really dumb. They have no idea what they're getting into. I don't believe they'll refuse to back down and apologize once pressure from public opinion weighs down on them." Chapter 668. A desire to marry him. Wan Shanshan turned to Ling Xiaozha and tried to curry favor with him. "Xiaozha, don't be mad. I'll get someone to make this post viral later. There are people who will take revenge for you. Just wait and see how everyone will curse Gong-su. Don't debase yourself by arguing with this useless, rich second-generation kid." Hearing this, Ling Xiaozha's gloomy expression slowly turned gentler. Even though he was also a popular newbie, Gong-su's reputation and his was worlds apart. That rich second-generation kid would cause his own doom someday. While Xiao-qing was busy passing out gifts to the crew, Yi Wanwan walked up to Xiao-chun. "Xiao-chun, try this medication. My girlfriend has the same issue as you. She's in extreme pain for those few days every month. She eventually found a very experienced, old Chinese doctor, and he gave her this prescription. She said this is quite effective, so you should give it a try. Actually, Yuanwan got it from Sun Bai Chao. Legendary Dr. Sun's advice obviously wouldn't be off. Xiao Chun was a member of the stage management crew. She looked at the man's handsome face, and her little face blushed. That's too nice of you. Thank you so much. Yuanwan said, It's nothing, don't mention it. Furthermore, I should be the one thanking you instead. Thanks for taking care of Luo-chun. The stage management crew might seem like they were just in charge of doing odd jobs, but taking care of all the miscellaneous matters for the entire crew, mobilizing everybody, allocating tasks, and taking care of daily affairs required them to be extremely vigilant and observant. For example, regarding what happened that day, Xiaochen helped a lot. It's all right. I'm glad I was able to be of help to you. I just can't take it when they bully others. Xiao Chun said shyly before her eyes filled with regret. The first time she met Manager Yi was during the first shooting of this drama. She was in so much pain due to her period that she wished she was dead, but at that time, they were very busy and she couldn't leave at all. As a minor crew member, all she could do was try to tolerate the pain. Only Yi Bai noticed she was in pain, and he discreetly sent his assistant to send her a warm pack, dark brown sugar water, and painkillers. He even asked his assistant to lighten her workload. At that moment, she only had one thought in her mind, a desire to marry him. Too bad an amazing guy like him already has a girlfriend. Not far off, Gong Su watched as the stage management crew member, Xiao Chen, was giggling and blushing with Yi Bai, and he felt uneasy in his heart. She's just a small crew member. Why does he have to be so nice to her? Really? If he's so free, why doesn't he come over and comfort me instead? Gong Su was whining when he heard footsteps approaching. Gong Su. Luo Chun walked up to Gong Su and stood there, hesitant to speak. Gong Su immediately transformed into a fighting rooster and entered battle mode. What? Just now. Luo Chun paused before he continued. Thank you. Gong Su immediately waved him off and felt somewhat uncomfortable. Don't look at me with such a disgusting expression. I wasn't doing it for you. I know, but still, thank you, Luo Chan said earnestly. Yuanwan, what are you two talking about? Seeing that Yi Bai was walking over, Gong Su said eagerly, Yi Ji, when are you going to give me special attention and practice my lines with me? Yuanwan, you're not ready for that yet. Gong Su's little face collapsed in an instant. Is my acting really that bad? Chapter 669. Very close, what do you think? You haven't even learned how to walk, yet you're already thinking of running? Yi Wanwan gave him side-eye. Have you gone through the script I gave you? Gong Su's eyes lit up brightly at the mention of the script. I've gone through it. Damn, it's awesome. That script was basically made just for me. The male lead is too handsome, isn't he? Handsome? He's just an ignorant and incompetent hedonistic son of rich parents. Yi Wanwan, glad you like it? Gong Su asked impatiently. Yiji, when are we going to start filming? I can't wait anymore. Yi Wanwan's eyes flashed with a faint light. Not so soon. You should focus on the rest of your assignments and the movie the company's arranged for you. The filming for this isn't urgent. Why? I want to film this first. Gong Su muttered. At first, Yuanwan wanted to pull investors in for this production. Since she was relying on the reputation of Worldwide, getting sponsors shouldn't be difficult. However, she recently received news that Chu Hongguang's nephew was secretly asking and paying attention to Dazzling Media. He had also been visiting Chu Hongguang's office frequently and had probably set his eyes on Dazzling. Since we shouldn't let one's own fertile water flow into others' fields, why can't I just fund this production myself? This was her greatest trump card. She couldn't let it be revealed so quickly. Yuanwan, we'll talk again once you practice your acting, not until it reaches an acceptable point. Even if she wanted to use her abilities to coax an artist into character, the artist still needed to have the skill and instinct first. It wasn't as if she could simply get any ordinary person to become great at acting all of a sudden. That was unrealistic. How could an apple tree produce an orange? It was the same logic. Gong Su's foundation was still too weak, and giving him more time would be safer. All right then. Gong Su nodded obediently and glanced at Luo Chun, grinning. What's the big deal about getting some special attention, huh? Yiji custom-made a new script just for me. Are you going together with me and Luo Chun for the company gathering tonight, or do you have your own arrangements? Yi Wanwan asked. Gong Su replied immediately. Together. Of course I'm going with Yiji. Those company gatherings used to be pointless and boring to him. He never attended any of them, but with Yiji, things were obviously different. Okay, let's go. Half an hour later, at the blues bar. There was already quite a crowd at the bar when they arrived, and when everyone saw Yi Wanwan, they went over to greet her one after another. Director Yiji, please sit here. Yi Wanwan nodded slightly, then sat in the middle of the sofa with Gong Su and Luo Chun flanking her left and right sides. Although she had taken over a number of artists, Luo Chun and Gong Su's statuses were different. Luo Chun was the first artist she personally groomed after all. Yi Wanwan had just sat down when her phone started ringing. It was Han Xianyu calling. Han Xianyu. Hey Yi Bai, where are you? Yi Wanwan. Blues bar, company gathering. What's up? Han Xianyu. What a coincidence. I'm just around the corner and have something I need to discuss with you. Is it convenient if I head over? Yi Wanwan. Of course. You're more than welcome. Han Xianyu. Tisk. All right then. Give me 5 minutes. Yi Wanwan. Okay. Gong Su's ears had already perked up. Yiji. Who was that? Han Xianyu. Yi Wanwan answered. Gong Su muttered, Yiji, you're very close to Xianyuji. Huh? He has his own manager. So why does he keep going to you to discuss his issues? Chapter 670. Bring me wherever he goes. The most annoying thing is that Han Xianyu likes to joke about asking Yiji to be his manager. Luo Chun is still alright, but Han Xianyu, I really can't compare to him. He knew clearly how much Yiji admired Han Xianyu. That guy was simply well-rounded and had an outrageously great reputation. If Yiji really is snatched away by Han Xianyu, what would happen to me then? PSSSSD. While Yi Wanwan went out to fetch Han Xianyu, Gong Su made weird noises towards Luo Chun. Blockhead, come here. Luo Chun shot a suspicious look over. Gong Su pulled him and whispered in his ear. Han Xianyu is so attentive towards Yi. Do you think he wants to poach him? Luo Chun furrowed his brows. They're just friends. Why are you so naive? Someday, when Yiji abandons you, I'll see what you're going to do. Gong Su tried pulling him in as an ally. An enemy's enemy is your friend, right? Luo Chun's face turned stern. Yiji wouldn't do that. Gong Su, who are you to think he won't? Do you think you can compete with Han Xianyu? Luo Chun. Yiji promised me before. As long as I'm willing to follow him, he'll bring me wherever he goes. Gong Su was stunned. It was as if there was a sudden thunderbolt on a clear day. Yiji actually made such a promise to Luo Chun. Haha, Gong Su. Congratulations, you're famous again. Gong Su was still in shock as Tang Xinghua laughed and sat his butt down on the seat next to Gong Su. After Wan Shanshan posted that video on Weibo, there was no need to even try to popularize the post or get the Internet Water Army involved. The moment she posted it, the number of shares and comments continually increased. Ling Xiaojia's fans were the first to arrive at the battlefield, coupled with a few passers-by who couldn't stand the sight of the perceived abuse. The harsh words immediately converged into a vast ocean. The battlefield of scolding Gong Su was always so massive. It was practically one of the spectacular wonders of the entertainment industry. When it came to people who were universally hated, he was the only one in the entertainment industry who was. Wan Shanshan. Initially, I wanted to keep the peace, but some people are simply intolerable bullies. Video. There were countless scoldings under the Weibo post. Damn, this is infuriating. Why does an idiot like him exist? Brainless prank. Why is someone who uses money to crush people still able to appear in front of the public? The society is corrupted because of such people. Apologize. Apologize to Ling Xiaojia. Good job, Shanshan. You should expose such people. Don't worry, We're all on your side. Gong Su, take your brainless fans and get out of the entertainment industry. Are you joking? This fool, Gong Su, has fans? Isn't he famous only because of the trouble he gets into? Seeing the earth-shattering condemnation and curses online, Tang Xinghua clicked his tongue. TSK, you're a true main tanker. Hatred for you is off the charts. Every time the public scolds you, they make a concerted effort to attack you in sync. Yeah? The others in the private room had also seen the Weibo video Wan Shanshan posted and were talking about it. Everyone knew Gong Su didn't care about such things, so they just mocked him casually. Suji, you're amazing. Each time there's something posted about you, it's always ranked #1 on the popularity board. Is Wan Shanshan crazy or something? It's between Gong Su and Ling Xiaojia, so why is she meddling? It must be to curry favor, eh? Gong Su, don't bother with someone like her. Gong Su sneered. Who is she anyway? Why should I care? However, Gong Su was still a little worried, and he glanced in Yu Wanwan's direction. Seeing that she was still speaking to Han Xianyu normally and didn't seem mad at all, he was relieved. But at the same time, there was a sense of loss he had never felt before. If it was Luo Chun who was receiving comments like that, Yiji would have already done some PR long ago. But now that it was his turn to be condemned, Yiji didn't seem to have the slightest reaction at all. Chapter 671. Little Dimple, your father, what exactly am I to Yiji? Does he think of me as his own artist? Or is Yiji just doing it for show, and he's treating me like a playboy? Is that why he never spends any time or money on me? Hell, what is he even thinking? Gong Su entered showbiz only for fun and didn't really intend to work in this field forever. He also got close to Yi by only for the sake of having a chance with Little Candied Plum. That's right, I did it for Little Candied Plum. Gong Su stopped his mind from running wild and tried his best to convince himself. However, why have I been thinking about such ridiculous things every day instead of my Little Candied Plum? I don't even remember how long it's been since I thought about her. In the private room, everyone was singing their hearts out. A female artist walked over to Yi by eagerly and insisted on singing a duet called Little Dimple with him. Irritated, Gong Su filled a wine glass to the brim and downed it. Little Dimple? Little Dimple, your father. Tang Xinghua gave him a strange look. She just wants to sing Little Dimple with Yi Bai. Why are you mad? Gong Su, mind your own business. Tang Xinghua, Gong Su's mood was erratic, and he seemed to be annoyed at everyone. Yi Wanwan's principle was to keep a certain distance from all the artists. Since she was disguised as a man, she wanted to try her best to avoid arousing suspicion, especially with female artists, so she turned the female artist down gracefully. However, at this moment, the atmosphere was lively and nobody was willing to let Yi Wanwan off. They started cheering. Just sing one song. Just one will do. What song do you like? You can sing any other songs too. Yi Wanwan couldn't change their minds, so she simply picked a song then called out to Luo Chun, who hadn't spoken the entire night. Luo Chun, I remember you like this song too. How about we sing it together? Huh? This kid is way too introverted. He's so quiet even at our own company's gathering. Luo Chin's eyes glistened slightly and he felt somewhat flattered. He didn't expect Yi Wanwan would remember, so he nodded and went over. The two of them picked up the microphones. Yi Wanwan was the first to sing. Boil a bowl of soup to remove heat from the blood. Bitterness enters the hero's bones. The flashes and shadows of swords, drifting along the world of the living. Luo Chen quickly followed. Truth. No pressing, no stopping, no turning around. Enemies meet on a narrow path. There's no return trip. No one asking who's waiting. Yi Wanwan. When I tear apart this universe of morning and twilight, a ray of light rotates around the smoke and dust. I'll drink the most intense wine, fall in love with the most beautiful person and watch the tall waves of the vast ocean. The youth's low voice was clear and melodious. He leaned against the sofa comfortably with a languid posture, and the gleam in his eyes sparkled like dazzling stars in the galaxy. They were in a private room at a bar, yet it felt as if they were transported to a bamboo forest. Luo Chen was stunned for a while and missed a beat before resuming. One said the most fearless people come from the country, bribing me with wine, overturning mountains and rivers. The heavens split and earth sinks, and I'll support this universe with my entire life. Everybody in the room applauded when they were done singing. Awesome, awesome. A gold medal duo, indeed. They're so in sync. Gong-su staggered onto the platform and declared, "Get lost. I want to pick a song." He wanted to dedicate a song to his little candied plum. Everyone quickly made way for him. Oh, Suji, go ahead and choose. Gong-su picked a song, then he sat on a high stool and sang in a drunken manner. I want you by my side. I want to see you dressing up. This blowing night wind tickles my heart. My lady, time is too long. My lady, where are you? It will be dawn soon. This night is to blame. It stimulates one's craziness. I want to sing and think of you, my lady. Listening to this, every single person in the room looked at each other, confused. What's with Gong-su? This isn't his style. Is he heartbroken? Heartbroken? Are you kidding me? How could Gong-su be heartbroken? That's true. After Gong-su was done, he held up the microphone and staggered over to Yi Wan. He then said seriously, Yiji, sing with me. Let's sing Little Dimple. Yi Wan. Tang Xinghua stared at Gong-su's face and rubbed his chin thoughtfully. His sharp senses told him there was something wrong with this fella. Something wrong with the way he looked at Yi Bai. Tang Xinghua rolled his eyes and said, Aye, where's the fun in singing? Come on, let's play some games. How about truth or dare? Chapter 672. You might be gay, you know that? Tang Xinghua's suggestion received approval from everyone, and they quickly gathered around. I'm not playing. I want to sing. Gong-su insisted on singing Little Dimple with Yi Wan. Tang Xinghua was speechless. When that girl wanted to sing with Yi Bai just now, this guy cursed the song and said, Little Dimple your father, but now he wants to sing it. Yi Ji, sing together with me. I want to sing Little Dimple. Yi Wan. I don't know how. Gong-su suddenly looked as if he was suffering an injustice. Liar. You sang with this dork and not me. Yi Wan looked disapprovingly at Gong-su's drunken state and snatched the glass of wine from his hand. She pulled out a piece of candy to help him sober up and stuffed it into his mouth. Gong-su. What? Yi Wan. A sober-up candy? Yummy. Gong-su's eyes glistened. His complaining immediately stopped, and he turned to Tang Xinghua. Tang Xinghua, what game did you mention just now? Let's play. Tang Xinghua looked strangely at Gong-su, who was completely pacified by a piece of candy. Bro, you might be gay. You know that? Immediately after, everyone started playing truth or dare. Tang Xinghua was an expert and was the first to pick the king, so he randomly chose Gong-su. Ahaha, Gong-su, truth or dare. Tang Xinghua waved the card in his hand excitedly. Gong-su was in a good mood as he ate the candy. Truth. Tang Xinghua's eyes shifted slightly. He rubbed his chin and said slowly, Gong-su, let me ask you a very serious question. You must answer me seriously, and it has to be the truth. What's the question? Gong-su grew impatient as Tang Xinghua tried to create suspense. There's no game I can't afford to play. Tang Xinghua stared at him for a while before asking softly, Do you like men? Hearing this question, everyone jeered. Tang Xinghua, what kind of question is this? You're actually doubtful of Gong-su's sexual orientation? Gong-su's face was as black as the underside of a pot. Tang Xinghua, are you an idiot? Tang Xinghua persevered and continued probing. You haven't answered my question, eh? Gong-su glared at him. What nonsense. Young master here likes beauties with long legs and delicate skin. Understand? Tang Xinghua, do you have a crush on me, huh? Tang Xinghua, cough. You're overthinking. To avoid making it look too obvious, Tang Xinghua purposely waited until everyone played a few rounds before he finally found the right chance to pick Yi Wan. Tang Xinghua stared at Yi Bai's stunning face that could attract both men and women. This face of Yi Bai's is really dangerous. Before Tang Xinghua could speak, Yi Wan made her choice, truth. Although choosing truth was also pretty risky to her, Dare would be worse. This group of people could get very wild and go to the extreme when it came to games. It was exactly what Tang Xinghua wanted Yuanwan to choose. Thus, he rubbed his hands together and asked, just perfect. Yi, I really want to ask you this question. What is it? Yi Wanwan responded casually. Tang Xinghua glanced at Gong Su first and rubbed his chin before he asked unhurriedly, there are so many good-looking men here today. If you have to pick a gay partner, who would you choose? Yi Wanwan, seriously, what kind of question is this? Chapter 673. Who exactly do you choose? What on earth does he want by asking me to choose a gay partner? This question reached a whole new level for Yuanwan. Luo Chen's reaction was definitely the most dramatic. He was completely stunned. Seated next to Yuanwan was Han Xianyu, whose glass paused in midair while Gong Su had his eyes fixed on Yuanwan without even blinking. Tang Xinghua giggled despicably. It was as if he wished for the world to be in chaos, and he specifically emphasized, You must choose someone who's present here today. Oh. Everyone cheered, and a very bold and unrestrained teen idol cast a coquettish glance towards Yuanwan. Yi, pick me. Move aside. I think Yi prefers guys like me. Seeing that the guys were hitting on Yi, the girls couldn't hold it in anymore. Damn it. Do you guys have any class at all? Also, why must it only be guys, huh? Exactly. Tang Xinghua, what are you trying to do? Why can't you ask him to choose a girl in this room to be his girlfriend? This is unfair. Tang Xinghua put on an innocent look and shrugged when the girls started to complain. If you girls want to ask this question, ask him yourselves later. But I have to remind all of you that our Yi is attached, so please don't have any ideas. When the girls heard what Tang Xinghua said, they instantly howled in grief. What? Yi already has a girlfriend? Aye. Let's get to the main point. Yi, you still have to answer my question. Quick, pick someone. Tang Xinghua urged eagerly. Yi Wanwan was helpless with so many eyes on her, and she replied plainly, I don't do gays. Tang Xinghua giggled. I know. That's why I said if you're not going to answer the question, you'll be punished by having to drink 3 glasses. What's up with Tang Xinghua tonight? Yuanwan pinched her brows as her head started throbbing. She swept her gaze across the room and tried looking for someone appropriate. Although Tang Xinghua was just joking, it was still a sensitive topic, and as a manager, she couldn't simply choose someone she wasn't familiar with. Otherwise, things would definitely get awkward. However, of all the people she was familiar with, this meant her choices were very limited. She really didn't know many people other than the ones she worked with. Only Luo Chen, Gong Su, Han Xianyu were the more familiar ones compared to the others. Luo Chen? Yi Wanwan didn't even have to consider him and immediately eliminated him. Luo Chen was acutely aware that Yi Wanwan's gaze brushed over him very quickly. His shoulders relaxed, but he still couldn't help looking towards Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan continued deliberating. If I can't pick Luo Chen, what about Gong Su? This guy has no moral principles at all, so it should be fine. At this moment, everyone was anticipating Yi Wanwan's choice. When Gong Su realized Yi Wanwan's eyes were on him, his entire body stiffened. He straightened his back involuntarily, and his heart beat faster and faster. His temperature started rising in areas her gaze landed on, and his entire being felt as if it was cooking in boiling water. Is Yi going to pick me? No way. Chapter 674. Extremely honored, but no way. He's a straight guy. If Yi really chooses me, how am I going to choose? Gong Su fell into a giant dilemma. Some fujoshis in the private room were so stirred up that their blood was boiling. Who will Yi choose? Oh my god. This is too exciting. I vote for Luo Chen. Luo Chen is the first artist Yi groomed. They're a power couple. They're a great match. No, you're too shallow. Gong Su and Yi are a better match, alright? Gong Su is as obedient as a little lamb in front of Yi. So sweet. Oh, please. Are you girls new here? Don't you know the situation now? Do you understand the meaning of first come, first served? Han Xianyu was the very first person who got close to Yi Ji. These two are, without a doubt, the perfect match. Okay? Other than Han Xianyu, I won't accept any other person pairing up with my Yi Ji. Ah, are none of you going to vote for Yi Ji and Tang Xinghua together? Yi Wanwan didn't know so many people were already secretly fantasizing about her. After some serious deliberation, she decided to eliminate Gong Su as well. Forget it. Gong Su and Luo Chun were both artists under her wing. It was better not to create such scandals with her own artists. Thus, there was only one candidate left, Han Xianyu. Furthermore, choosing Han Xianyu was indeed the safest choice. Yi Wanwan thought it over and over again before she finally made up her mind. Under everyone's eager gazes, she said, Han Xianyu. There was total silence in the private room for a second, then everyone started howling oh, especially a few of the Fujoshis. Ah, I knew it, I knew it. My Yi Ji is faithful to the death. He won't get distracted by others. The Baiyu coupling can't be shaken. Ugh, why is it Han Xianyu? They really are quite compatible though. In contrast to the people watching the fun in the room, Han Xianyu was a little taken aback when he heard Yi Bai's answer. His hand holding the glass of wine froze and the warmth in his eyes flashed unnoticeably. Although he could roughly guess why Yi Bai chose him, he still felt as if he had reached another level of closeness with him after hearing his answer. Luo Chen lowered his eyes and clenched his fists. The person Yi Ji was closest to was still Han Xianyu, but this was also expected. Everyone knew how close Yi Ji and Han Xianyu were. Their relationship wasn't something that could be compared with other people. Tang Xinghua glanced sympathetically towards Gong Su. This guy didn't explode in fury right away. Instead, he sat there in silence with his face hidden in the shadows. I wonder what's on his mind. Ahaha, Yi Ji, do you have any thoughts about Yi Ji wanting to have sexual relations with you? Tang Xinghua teased. Han Xianyu glanced at the youth next to him. He furrowed his brows and answered calmly, I'm extremely honored. Ow 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 cheers resounded in the room once again. As Yi Wanwan and Han Xianyu were very close, and the two of them were also very open-minded, everyone was just joking and didn't think much of it. But there were some people who thought otherwise. At this moment in the corner, Gong Su clutched his chest with one hand and broke out in a cold sweat. Darn it. Just what is going on? It's just a game. When Yi Bai looked away from me. When Yi Bai's eyes landed on Han Xianyu, when Han Xianyu's name left his lips, why did I have this terrible feeling in my heart? Chapter 675. Played to death. Gong Su's heart hurt, so much that it felt like he couldn't breathe. The fury he felt was as though his blood was set on fire, and he almost lost control of himself. That feeling of wanting to. Gong Su muttered a curse with a darkened expression, and he shot daggers with his eyes as he looked in Tang Xinghua's direction. Tang Xinghua felt a chill down his spine, and he lowered his head instinctively. The truth or dare game was still ongoing. Gong Su pulled out a card without any expression on his face. King. Gong Su stared at Tang Xinghua. Truth or dare? Tang Xinghua was slightly creeped out by Gong Su's stare. Dare? No, truth. Playing with Gong Su, he didn't dare to choose dare. Truth, huh? Gong Su revealed half his little sharp canines. He curled his lips and looked unusually threatening as he said, Sure. My question is, if your girlfriend and your best friend, which is me, switched our souls and you had to stab one of us in order for our souls to switch back, who would you choose to stab? Tang Xinghua was stunned, and after a moment, he immediately cursed. Fuck. This question is practically giving my life away, alright? I would rather die. Hearing Gong Su's question, the entire room filled with laughter. Ha 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 ha, this question? Gong Su, you're too hilarious. Indeed, Su Ji's questions are always a killer. Su Ji has gone crazy. While they were playing the game earlier, Gong Su ate a sweet candy and kept smiling. He didn't have any murderous aura, but now he suddenly exploded. One had to understand that Gong Su was an expert in playing truth or dare. If he wanted to mess with someone, that person would definitely be played to death. Tang Xinghua looked as if he was mourning at this mother's funeral. Gong Su, you got me. I'll drink. With that, he downed 3 large glasses as punishment. Gong Su sat there casually and said, "Okay, let's continue." Tang Xinghua choked and had a bad feeling. His premonition proved to be right. Gong Su got to be the king again and picked him. Gong Su, truth or dare? Tang Xinghua's eyes were spinning. Although choosing truth would be very miserable, dare would be worse for sure. Truth. Tang Xinghua gritted his teeth. Gong Su nodded, then asked, "If your girlfriend and your best friend switched their souls, why this question again?" Tang Xinghua broke down. "Don't be so agitated." Gong Su glanced sideways at him and continued, "If your girlfriend and your best friend switched souls and you had to choose one of them to have sex with, who would it be?" Tang Xinghua. Gong Xiao Xu. Damn you. Gong Su grinned while flashing his little canines. Why would you ask such retarded questions? Tang Xinghua was on the verge of crying from the questions. Tang Xinghua had no choice. He really couldn't answer this question, so he could only drink the 3 glasses again. After downing a total of 6 glasses, he almost puked. The game continued, and the king was Gong Su once again. Everyone turned to Tang Xinghua instinctively, and although they didn't know the reason, everybody could tell there was some conflict between them, and Gong Su wouldn't let Tang Xinghua off so easily. Tang Xinghua cried regretfully. If he had known this would happen, he wouldn't have courted death and caused trouble. But bro, it's none of my business that someone doesn't want to engage in BL with you. If you want to take out your anger on someone, it shouldn't be me, right? Chapter 676. He needs a beating, that's all. Truth or dare? Gong Su's words sounded like the devil's music. Tang Xinghua howled in grief and scurried away. Bro, Suji, Great Master Gong, please take the chance to ask Yi questions. That's right. Go ask Yi something. Isn't that better? Why waste your chances on me? Gong Su paused when he heard that. He then turned to Yi Wanwan. Tang Xinghua was right. Truth or dare was indeed a very good opportunity. He would be able to dig up some information about Little Candied Plum. Actually, he should have thought about this way earlier. But right now, what was he doing? Truth or dare? Gong Su repeated. His expression was more sinister. Tang Xinghua had never seen Gong Su acting so terrifying before. He swallowed and ran towards Yi Wanwan. Yi, save me. Tang Xinghua had just taken a step forward when Gong Su grabbed the back of his collar. You're still trying to escape? Huh. Lighter, lighter, lighter. Tang Xinghua nearly suffocated. Yi Wanwan looked at Gong Su crazily dissing Tang Xinghua out of the blue. She pinched her brows helplessly and stood up, then grabbed Gong Su by the wrist. All right, just what is going on? The moment Yi Wanwan's fair and soft fingers wrapped around his wrist, Gong Su stiffened up and let go of Tang Xinghua instantly, like his hand was just scalded. Phew, I was saved. Tang Xinghua hurriedly took the chance to duck and fled in his drunken stupor. What did he do to provoke you? Yi Wanwan asked. Gong Su looked down and didn't say a word. The youth's breath and his lingering touch on his wrist made his heart distraught and his mind was in turmoil. He needs a beating, that's all. Gong Su replied before he turned around and left the private room. Yi Wanwan watched as Gong Su left and revealed a suspicion look. Gong Su doesn't seem quite right. Yi Wanwan was deep in thought when her phone rang. It was a message from Si Han. Are you done? Yi Wanwan's eyes turned gentler and she typed her reply, soon, about half an hour more. I'm dealing with something nearby. Si Han sent this last message and didn't send any more. Seeing this message, Yi Wanwan was a little speechless. I'm dealing with something nearby. I'll come pick you up later. Can't he just complete the sentence properly? Yi Wanwan felt like she was trained to read minds now. Forget it. Forget it. Girlfriends are meant to be spoiled. Even though Yi Wanwan was scolding him in her heart, she still replied to him. Let's go home together later, all right? Si Han replied within seconds. Seeing that reply, Yi Wanwan giggled. Next to her, Han Xianyu looked at her, startled. The youth's clear eyes were fixed on his phone screen, and he had an unextinguishable warmth. Is he texting his girlfriend? In the meantime, at the entrance of the washroom. Bang! Tang Xinghua was planning to sneak off but was held back by Gong Su in the end. Gong Su punched the wall behind him and blocked his way. Tang Xinghua was so remorseful that his intestines were turning green. My ancestor, what exactly do you want? Gong Su remained silent. He stared at Tang Xinghua until his legs began trembling. Damn it, this guy isn't planning to silence me, is he? This is terrifying. Just as Tang Xinghua didn't dare to breathe, Gong Su moved closer to him without any warning and kissed him. Kissed him. Kissed him. Chapter 677. Prove he's straight. Tang Xinghua felt as if he just got struck by lightning. What the hell? Shit. Gong Su, you bastard. Have you lost your mind? My virginity. Gong Su, go to hell. Tang Xinghua rubbed his lips like crazy. However, Gong Su's reaction was even bigger than Tang Xinghua's. He pushed him away harshly, nearly causing him to fall, and he started splashing running water all over his face. He looked utterly disgusted. Fuck. That was gross. Tang Xinghua blew up when he heard that. Damn it. You feel grossed out? I'm the one who is grossed out. You forced a kiss on me and called me gross? Are you kidding me? Shit. Gong Su turned the tap to its highest and directly placed his entire head under the cold running water. Tang Xinghua saw Gong Su's reaction. He spat then said weakly, Gong Su, have you really turned gay? Gong Su raised his head slowly. His hair was dripping wet, and he glared sternly at Tang Xinghua as he said, What did you just say? Gay? No, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Nothing at all. You heard wrong. You're so disgusted just by this little kiss, so how could you be gay? Ha ha ha. Tang Xinghua waved repeatedly. You must be straight. Your sexual orientation is the straightest. Damn, I'm dead. I accidentally blurted it out. With Gong Su's current mood, I can't let him know I've already discovered he might be gay. Thankfully, Gong Su's expression became much calmer when he heard this cover-up. Thank God. After a moment of silence, Gong Su said, Then what about him? Him? Who? Tang Xinghua didn't get it. Gong Su swept his eyes over Tang Xinghua, annoyed. Yi Bai, does he like men or women? When Tang Xinghua heard his question, he replied carefully, Well, how would I know? Tang Xinghua grumbled softly. I already told you to take the chance to ask Yi Bai, but you didn't listen to me and insisted on dissing me. Was it worth it? Gong Su glared dangerously at him. Tang Xinghua cowered in terror and answered seriously, Doesn't Yi Bai have a girlfriend? So, he should like women, right? Then what's going on between him and Han Xianyu? Gong Su's expression turned icy at the mention of Han Xianyu, as he recalled Yi Wanwan's answer earlier. The beads of water on his face froze, and there was a blazing fire in his eyes. As if Tang Xinghua would dare to provoke him at this time. He could only use his instincts to placate him, and he said firmly, Oh, please. Of course he was just joking. Can't you tell that Yi Bai chose Han Xianyu intentionally? It was to avoid gossip. After all, everyone present today was either part of Dazzling's staff or artists under his care. It'd be bad if scandals or unspoken rules spread around. Listening to Tang Xinghua's argument for Yi by not liking Han Xianyu made the irritation in Gong Su's heart ease up, but when he thought about how Tang Xinghua said Yi Bai had a girlfriend and liked women, the feeling came back. Damn it. Gong Su was akin to a short-tempered lion at this moment. Tang Xinghua shrunk into the corner like a mistreated daughter-in-law, afraid Gong Su would try to prove he was straight and pounce on him again. Damn, my poor virginity. Just who did I piss off? Chapter 678. Try kissing. After the gathering ended, everyone said their goodbyes at the exit and left. Han Xianyu. Yi Bai, how are you getting back? My friend is nearby. He'll pick me up along the way, Yu Wanwan replied. Luo Qin, Gong Su, Han Xianyu, and Tang Xinghua were all waiting for their rides. Han Xianyu was tilting his head slightly while talking to Yi Wanwan, and Luo Chun was on the phone with his assistant, while Gong Su, who usually liked to be close to Yi Wanwan, was standing quite a few steps behind. Tang Xinghua's eyes swept across Yi Bai, Luo Chun, Han Xianyu, and Gong Su. The burning curiosity in him was unbearable. He felt like something was going on, but he couldn't seem to find anything. Gong Su walked up to Han Xianyu and called him aside. Xianyu ji, I have a question I want to ask you. Gong Su looked firmly at the man before him. What is it? Han Xianyu asked. Gong Su, Yi Ji has a girlfriend, right? Han Xianyu nodded. That's right. I heard she's beautiful, although I haven't seen her in person. Gong Su furrowed his brows. Are you sure he likes women? Han Xianyu burst into laughter when he heard his question and replied helplessly, Of course. What are you thinking? It can't be because of the joke just now, right? I need to put this out there. Your Yi Ji and I are innocent. Seeing Han Xianyu acting so honest and open, Gong Su went silent. After some time, Gong Su hopped over to Luo Chun. Come here. I have something to ask you. What is it? Luo Chun knitted his brows slightly. I told you to come over, so just come. Okay. Stop whining like a girl. Gong Su dragged him away forcefully like a pirate. Luo Chun, what's the matter? Let me ask you. Does Yi Ji have a girlfriend? Gong Su asked him the same question. Yes, why? Luo Chun was confused. Are you sure Yi Ji likes women? Gong Su continued probing persistently. Gong Su didn't know exactly why he had to keep asking this question, and he also had no idea what answer he wanted to hear. Luo Chun frowned and said unhappily, What nonsense are you talking about? Yi Ji obviously likes women. Gong Su pursed his lips and finally stopped talking. He assumed he was overthinking as well. I must be drunk. That's why I'm acting so weird. I am straight and so is Yi Ji. Yes, that must be it. Gong Su. At this moment, Yi Wanwan was walking towards Gong Su. Alas, when the youth stood in front of him, Gong Su's heart started palpitating once again and his blood was boiling. Gong Su clutched his chest firmly. Damn, why am I jumping around frantically like a little deer in front of a man? What's the matter? Yi Wanwan asked. In nothing. Yi Ji, you were looking for me? Gong Su finally calmed down, but his eyes were still avoiding Yi Bai. What's up with your hair? Yi Wanwan asked. Gong Su's hair was soaking wet. Even his lapel had a wet patch. Tang Xinghua was hiding in a corner with tears covering his face. This is evidence. It's evidence. Evidence that he violated me. Nothing. I spilled something on myself, so I went to wash it, Gong Su replied. He appeared like he wanted to speak, but he kept quiet in the end. His conflicting expressions almost turned twisted. Still jumping. Huh. Jump, jump, jump. Quit jumping. What's wrong with me? Why is it whenever I see or speak to Yi Ji, something feels wrong with me? My heart rate increases, my body heats up, and my 6 vital organs fail to function. Chapter 679. The Real Love Rival. It was a cold and drizzly night, similar to how Gong Su was feeling. He realized this feeling was as if he was falling passionately in love. With that thought, his blood ran cold and he couldn't help but feel horrified by his own thoughts. Shit, falling in love? That's nuts. I fell in love with a man? But I haven't been in love before and am just an inexperienced young guy. Gong Su didn't understand why he was reacting this way, which was why he was terrified. No way, I'll go crazy if this goes on. Should I? Should I try kissing Yi Ji? If it's as disgusting as kissing Tang Xinghua, it'll put my mind at ease for sure. Gong Su had these nonsensical thoughts in his mind when Yi Wanwan asked, You want to ask me about little candied plum, don't you? What? At this moment, Gong Su had long forgotten about little candied plum. Yi Wanwan felt that something really wasn't right with Gong Su tonight, so she looked at Gong Su suspiciously. Sensing Yi Wanwan's stare, Gong Su became increasingly anxious. All of a sudden, Yuanwan saw a black car approaching from the corners of her eyes, and it slowly stopped by the side of the road. It was Si Yihan's car. Yuanwan then looked away from Gong Su and turned in the other direction. The car door opened and a long leg emerged slowly, followed by a tall, cold figure. He made his way towards the dazzling lights of the bar from the dark and quiet night. Step by step, he walked to Yuanwan and stood there. Han Xianyu's eyes constricted instantly when he saw him. The friend I mentioned just now was actually Ninth C. Mr. C, we meet again. Han Xianyu greeted him. Si Han looked indifferently at Han Xianyu and replied with a slight nod. Although Luo Chun had only met Si Han once, he had a deep impression of him. Previously, Si Han kissed Yi right in front of him and Han Xianyu. He was beyond terrified at that point in time. Seeing that Si Han had arrived, Yi Wanwan waved. Xianyu, my friend is here. I'll take my leave first. Sure, take care. Luo Chun, is Shao Qing here yet? Yi Wanwan looked at Luo Chun. Luo Chun, in 5 minutes' time? All right. Yi Wanwan nodded and turned to Gong Su. Gong Su, wait for the driver to come. You drank, so don't drive yourself. Oh. Gong Su looked at the man next to Yi Wanwan, distracted. Who was that guy? He didn't know what was going on with him. That guy was just a stranger, yet he felt repulsed and guarded against him. He felt very threatening. Tang Xinghua, who had been trying to make his presence undetected, couldn't hold back and said, Who is this guy? He has such a strong aura around him. After Yuanwan bid farewell to Han Xianyu and the others, she walked in the direction of the car together with Si Han. The night was quite chilly, which caused Yuanwan to sneeze violently on the way to the car. Next to her, Si Han frowned and stopped in his tracks. He removed the big black coat he was wearing and placed it gently around Yuanwan's shoulders. Having the warm coat wrapped around her body, Yuanwan immediately felt much better. Yuanwan was stunned, then exclaimed anxiously, You don't have to give it to me. What if you catch a cold? It would be a big deal if Si Han caught a cold, and also, she was disguised as a man right now. When Si Han saw that Yuanwan wanted to return the coat to him, he suddenly grabbed hold of her hand. Feeling her ice-cold fingers, Si Han knitted his brows further and directly placed her little palm on his warm chest. Chapter 680. You two big fat liars. After seeing this scene, Gong Su felt as if he was struck by lightning and looked as if he wanted to lodge a complaint as he glared at Han Xianyu and Luo Chun. Liars. You two big fat liars. You guys teamed up to lie to me. Didn't the two of you say that Yi Ji liked women? Then tell me. Tell me what this situation is. What is it? Why is there a wild man coming out of nowhere? Yuanwan naturally noticed their reactions, but after she considered the outcome if she retracted her hand at this moment, she decided to go with the wiser decision of not moving. Yuanwan glanced at Luo Qin, Gong Su, and the others from the corners of her eyes, then she looked up at Si Han helplessly and said, Baby, can you give me some face in front of my artists? Face? Si Han revealed a look of suspicion. After giving it some thought, Si Han assumed Yuanwan was worried about being misunderstood and didn't want him to act too close to her in front of people from her company. His eyes turned cold, but at the same time, he released her hand. Yuanwan smiled and didn't offer an explanation. In the next second, she removed his coat and tossed it lightly back to Si Han. After that, she removed the shawl around her neck and twirled it twice around Si Han's neck tightly. Yuanwan giggled and spoke at a volume that was only audible to the two of them. What I meant was that even if we create some misunderstanding, I should be the dominant one at least. If my artists think I'm a pushover, wouldn't I lose face? Si Han. One of the men smiled gently. He looked absolutely stunning, like an elegant prince who lived with riches and honor, while the other was extremely cold, like pure white snow that covered mountaintops, unaffected by troubles of everyday life. They seemed completely incompatible on the surface, yet they still looked so harmonious. Standing together, they were as beautiful as a painting. Moreover, there seemed to be an ambiguous relationship between them. Not far off, Luo Chun, Han Xianyu, Gong Su, and Tang Xinghua had perplexed looks on all their faces. If that was a scene of a guy and a girl, it was definitely a beautiful and warm image with a ton of dog food. But right now, it was two big men. Isn't there something wrong with this? Tang Xinghua swallowed and leaned over carefully. Who was that guy just now? How's he related to Yiji? Why do I feel like something isn't right? Could it be my misperception? Gongsu exploded immediately and quickly charged towards Han Xianyu and Luo Chan. So this is what you guys meant by Yiji liking women? Han Xianyu and Luo Chan looked at each other. After that, Luo Chan said, "Is there a problem?" The veins on Gongsu's forehead protruded. "You're asking me if there's a problem? Didn't you see it for yourself just now?" Luo Chan replied indifferently, "So what if I saw it? It's just two regular friends getting along." As for Luo Chan, who had already seen Yi by pouncing on Si Han on the sofa before, he found it perfectly normal when Si Han placed a coat over Yi Bai's shoulders and touched his hand a little. Perfectly normal? Are you blind? Gongsu grumbled, then turned to Han Xianyu. "Xianyu Ji, do you think it's normal too?" Han Xianyu rubbed his nose. "It should be nothing, huh?" After all, Han Xianyu had seen more than Luo Chan. He even witnessed Ninth Si kissing Yi Bai. In the end, Gongsu was the only one left confused in this crazy mess. Chapter 681. There must be something fishy. The car drove smoothly on the road, but Gongsu's mood was similar to a roller coaster ride. In the back seat, Gongsu was close to breaking down and he started talking to himself. "Shit, is there really something wrong with me? Am I just overthinking? This young master here has been very skilled in dating since the age of 3. How could I possibly be mistaken about such things? There must be something fishy going on between Yi Ji and that facial paralysis man. Yes, there must be something." Tang Xinghua, who was timidly sitting close to the window, asked meekly, "Can I say something?" Gongsu snapped at him, "Shoot." Tang Xinghua said, "I just wanted to say that whether Yi Ji likes men or women, why does it matter to you? You absolutely don't need to be so frustrated about it." The moment Tang Xinghua's words fell, Gongsu's face froze. "That's right. What does Yi Bai's sexual orientation have to do with me, and why do I care so much?" Gongsu tried to tell himself that he didn't care, and it was just because Yi Bai was the older brother of his little candied plum that he was paying more attention to him. However, there was a constant replay of the scene from that night in his mind. The image of Yi Bai draping the coat over the man's shoulders and putting the shawl around him, and the way Yi Bai was looking at that man's face. Tang Xinghua saw the perplexed look on Gongsu's face and mumbled, "Unless you're really gay." Gongsu lowered his voice. "Unless I'm what?" Tang Xinghua obviously didn't dare to speak his mind. He shook his head and said firmly, "Nothing. Nothing, nothing." Gongsu stared ferociously at Tang Xinghua. His gaze was as piercing as an X-ray. Tang Xinghua's hair stood on end from the stare, and he covered his mouth in panic. "There's no way, right? Don't tell me he wants to do that again? Driver, stop the car. Stop the car. I want to get off." Tang Xinghua originally planned on staying over at Gongsu's villa tonight, but judging by the current situation, it was too dangerous to stay with him. When the car finally approached the villa, Tang Xinghua immediately wanted to hop out without delay, but just as he was about to get off, he suddenly realized something didn't seem right. The villa was surrounded by a mass of people outside. There were reporters carrying cameras and their microphones, along with countless fans holding up LED banners. The banner clearly read, "Gongsu, leave the entertainment industry," and Gongsu, apologize to Ling Xiaojia. The moment Gongsu's car appeared in everyone's sight, they began banging on his windows and rotten eggs and vegetables were constantly thrown at the car. Gongsu's mood tonight was already bad, and at this moment, he burst out in a rage. "Fuck. This is young master's new sports car." Tang Xinghua furrowed his brows. Other than a couple of close acquaintances, nobody knows about this villa of yours. Who leaked that information? Who else? Gongsu sneered. Anyway, Just lie low till everything blows over, Tang Xinghua said. It had only been a few hours since Wan Shan posted the video on Weibo, but the incident had already been made known to the entire industry and internet. Even the mainstream media began to join in the crusade and escalated the problem to the issue of an artist's moral conduct, social class, and other sensitive issues. Although Gongsu had a strong backer, things could become tricky if this issue got too messy and the related departments for the aforementioned issues got involved. If they continued to escalate the problem, Gongsu might even really have to leave the industry. Tang Xinghua's eyes swept across the crazy media and fans outside the window. Gongsu, you really went a little too far this time. I think you better apologize. Otherwise, I'm afraid it'll be too hard to clear the mess if things get out of hand. Chapter 682. Unconventional in the driver's seat, the little assistant, Dong Zai, was in a difficult position and was trying to think of a way to escape. Tang Xinghua continued persuading Gong Su earnestly. Gong Su, I'm not trying to scare you, but Emperor Sky is obviously trying to mess with you this time. Almost half of the people from the entertainment industry shared the post, and this issue is getting more serious. Your father, young master, has waited over a year for this sports car. It has 900 horsepower, goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.8 seconds, has a speed limit of 350 kilometers per hour with a top speed of 384 kilometers per hour, and the glass is a work of art. Try hitting my little baby again if you dare. Shit. Still hitting. Huh. Young master will fight all of you. Tang Xinghua nearly broke down. Brat, are you even listening to what I'm saying? What are you even focusing on? Hey. Don't get out of the car. Gongsu, you're nuts. Tang Xinghua couldn't stop him at all, and could only watch as Gongsu got out of the car even in such a situation. The moment Gongsu got out, it was like splashing cold water in an oil pan. The media immediately rushed to him wildly and started asking questions one after another like pelting hailstones. Reporter, Gongsu, may I know if you have anything to say regarding the incident of you acting like a big shot and splashing coffee directly on Ling Xiaojia? Gongsu lifted his chin, revealing his refined, handsome, and domineering face. That's right, young master is a bigger shot than him, Ling Xiaojia. Reporter, bullying others like that, don't you think you went too far? Gongsu's lips curled back, revealing his cold and threatening teeth. Yeah, young master is a big bully. So what? Bite me then. Reporter, so you're not going to apologize to Ling Xiaojia? Gongsu raised his brows. Huh, apologize? Young master will splash coffee on that dumbass, Ling Xiaojia, each time I see him. Get him to fight me if he dares. Hearing Gongsu's words, the fans and bystanders exploded in fury and charged towards him violently. Gongsu, go to hell. You're a scum in the community. Tumor. Leave the entertainment industry. Gongsu raised his brows and straightened his shirt. Yo, come at me. Throw that, aim it right here. Young master's shirt isn't some cheap stuff like Ling Xiaojia's. A small piece of this fabric is worth $1 million. Go ahead and throw. Come at me. Come. Tang Xinghua, Dong Zai. The two of them watched helplessly as Gongsu headed straight into the jeering crowd and unleashed his ego. Dong Zai was so anxious that he nearly cried. Xingji, what should we do now? You better stop Gongji. We can't let him continue like this. Tang Xinghua looked at the outstanding hero before him, verbally sparring with others. You think I can stop him? Those reporters assigned to follow Gongsu were the happiest. They never lacked explosive content and topics to publish. It went without saying what the hottest gossip would be the next day. Tang Xinghua was squeezed into the crowd and used tremendous effort to pull Gongsu out. Brat, that's enough. Stop yelling. Why should I? Unless they clean my car. Gongsu's mind was focused only on his baby sports car. Tang Xinghua gritted his teeth. I'll clean it. I'll get someone to clean it for you, all right? Can we go back inside now? Gongsu stood in front of everyone boldly. No way. Whoever dirted my car will clean it up for me. If they don't clean it up today, they don't have to think about leaving. Young master isn't done with you guys. Everyone. When stars encountered such a situation where they were surrounded, they were usually in a state of panic and couldn't wait to escape. But Gong-su, on the other hand, wouldn't let the media leave. He was really unconventional, truly an exotic flower in the entertainment industry. Chapter 683. Distorted Heartbeat. Yi Wanwan was taking a shower when her phone was flooded with countless messages till her battery died. When she opened one of the links, a video popped out immediately. The video was quite shaky and noisy, and the scene was in complete chaos. In the crowd of black shadows, Gong-su's fluorescent blue flight jacket was exceptionally striking. That's right, young master is a bigger shot than him. Ling Xiaojia? Yeah, young master is a big bully. So what? Bite me then. Ai yo, come at me. Throw that aim it right here. Come. They don't have to think about leaving. Yi Wanwan didn't know whether to laugh or cry when she heard that last sentence. He doesn't hide immediately when he runs into the media, and instead, he acts like a big bully and stops them from leaving. I'm afraid in the entire entertainment industry, Gong-su is the only one who does this. Her phone rang continuously like it was pressing her to death. It was a call from Gong-su's assistant, Dong Zai. Yi Wanwan answered. Hello? Dong Zai sounded like he was on the verge of crying. E.g., I'm so sorry. We bumped into the media and fans at the entrance and I wasn't watching Gong-su closely. Yi Wanwan replied. I already saw the video. Dong Zai. E.g., what should we do now? I really can't stop him. Yi Wanwan already expected this to happen. Don't worry, let him be. Dong Zai was stunned. Huh, let him be? How can we do that? Yi-ji, are you sure? Are you able to stop him? Yi Wanwan replied with a question. Dong Zai didn't have any rebuttal. I can't. Yi Wanwan. So, do you still have any questions? Dong Zai, no. Dong Zai hung up in a daze. What kind of bosses am I working for? Why are they becoming more and more unconventional one after another? Yi Wanwan browsed on the internet. It was filled with gossip and news regarding Gong-su. There weren't many people who were able to commit such a terrifying massacre in the entertainment industry. Gong-su's temperament was too unique, so he was always in the middle of gossip and was the focus of the crowd. He was a natural star. Such an assertive character, if not controlled or guided, would be fatal to him, just like it was now. However, as long as PR was done right, no one could be as popular, had the capacity, nor was as talked about as him in the entire industry. Then he'd be the king of popularity. Initially, taking over Gong-su was just an unplanned move, but Yi Wanwan had become quite interested in this challenge now. The next morning, dazzling media, Yi Wanwan's office. Yi Wanwan was dealing with some matters for a bit and felt a little tired. She supported her head with one hand and lay down on the sofa to take a power nap. At this moment, her office door was slammed open with a loud bang. Gong-su charged inside in a fury, while Dong Zai staggered behind. Suji, slow down. Slow down. Damn it, I want to get rid of Ling Xiaojia. There can only be one of us in the entertainment industry. Yi-ji, go tell management that I would like to get rid of Ling Xiaojia. As long as the tiger doesn't show its power, he treats me like a sick cat. Huh? He actually dared to step over my head. He wants to play, huh? Young master, I shall play till his death. Gong-su exploded like a firecracker, but halfway through, he suddenly noticed the youth resting on the sofa. The sunlight filtered through the window panes and danced on the youth's peaceful and beautiful face. Gong-su went silent all of a sudden. Thump thump, his heart started beating recklessly once again. Damn. *PID heart. You're not done, huh? No way. I need to get an answer by today. I have to prove to myself that I'm definitely not gay. Chapter 684. Let me give you a kiss like a thief. Gong-su slowly leaned towards the man resting on the sofa. I just have to give it a go, and it'll be done. But the moment he approached, Yi Wanwan suddenly opened her eyes. Gong Su immediately stood up straight with a swish. Yi Ji. Yi Wanwan placed the document in her hands down and shifted her eyes to the sofa beside her. Come, take a seat. Gong Su remained motionless and stood rooted at the same spot. He said sternly, I have a request and you have to agree to it. Yi Wanwan raised her brows. What is it? Gong Su said firmly, May I kiss you? Dong Zai, who was by the side. Damn, what did I just hear? I think I'm probably deaf. When Yi Wanwan heard his request, a dangerous light flashed in her eyes. She glanced at Gong Su with a fake smile and said slowly, Are you trying to court death? Gong Su felt as if a Cupid's arrow shot through his heart. He clutched his chest and wailed. Ouch! Yi, don't do this. Don't look at me with that expression. Don't talk to me with that tone. It's simply too much. Yi, you look too similar to Little Candied Plum. Whenever I look at you, I accidentally see you as Little Candied Plum. It's as if I'm turning gay. Dong Zai. GGG gay? I practically just found out some earth-shattering news. Could this artist be any more immoral? Gong Su mumbled. Luckily, I kissed Tang Xinghua last night and it made me extremely nauseous, which proves I'm still straight. But once I see you, my heart still jumps recklessly like a little deer. It's so stupid. As long as you let me give you a kiss and if I feel disgusted, I won't have to worry anymore. Yi Wanwan. Suddenly, I feel a little sympathetic towards Tang Xinghua. Gong Su tried bargaining. Then, why doesn't Yiji let me meet Little Candied Plum once? Once I see Little Candied Plum, I won't have this misperception anymore for sure. Yi Wanwan was about to speak, but she was interrupted by a knock at the door. Director Yi, Su-ji. It's time for the meeting. Yi Wanwan. Got it. We'll be there soon. Yi Wanwan casually glanced at Gong Su. You want me to agree to your request? Gong Su's eyes lit up and he nodded continuously. Yi Wanwan stood up, straightened her lapel, and gave him a sidelong glance. Sure, as long as both your legs are strong enough. As in, if I'm not afraid of getting my legs broken. Gong Su immediately felt a chill down his spine, and his calves started to tremble. In the conference room, all the higher-ups and dazzling media were present. In the middle seat was the general manager, Yang Jin Yuan. Seated on his left was Yi Wanwan, followed by Gong Su. Yang Jin Yuan's expression was solemn. What is the PR department doing? Up till now, they still haven't gotten the situation under control, and instead, the matter is getting worse. The director of PR felt resentful. He snuck a glance at Gong Su, who was sitting there with his legs crossed like a great master. Mr. Yang, we've tried our best to keep the matter under control and deleted all the relevant posts. We've done everything we could, but Gong Su kept quarreling with the netizens online last night. It's simply too hard to deal with. A weak teammate does you more harm than a strong enemy. We worked so hard and finally managed to keep the matter under control, but a simple comment from Gong Su invited another slew of scoldings once again. We're all going crazy, all right? Chapter 685. You have a lot of guts when encountered with this sort of situation. Who would dare to make reckless remarks? They could only listen obediently to the company's directions. But Gong Su went on Weibo and did all sorts of damage. He also retorted back aggressively and was talented at attracting more hatred. Every time Gong Su caused an accident, the entire PR department's mood turned so heavy as if their parents had passed away. Of course, Yang Jin Yuan knew the source of their woes, but nothing could be done with Gong Su. All he could do was slap the table and scold his subordinates. What I want right now isn't excuses or reasons but solutions. The director of PR stuttered. Right now, the only way we can reduce the impact is to have Gong Su step out and apologize, then wait for things to slowly subside. Gong Su raised his brows, placed his feet down, and stood up slowly. He made his way towards the director of PR. Yo, Director Fong, you have a lot of guts, huh? What did you just say? You want young master to do what? Say it again. HM? The PR director cried out immediately. Yi, Director Yi, help me. Yi Wanwan warned Gong Su with a stern glance. Gong Su scoffed before returning to his seat reluctantly. Only then did the PR director heave a sigh of relief and wipe off his cold sweat. This job is really too challenging. Young Jin Yuan looked towards Yi Wanwan, who hadn't yet spoken a word. Director Yi, you're Gong Su's manager. What do you think? Yi Wanwan looked indifferent and replied, I've already told Mr. Yang what I think about this incident. Gong Su is not in the wrong. Gong Su's mood had been extremely irritable lately, but when he heard this, his anger immediately subsided. Indeed, Yi Ji was the only wise man in the entire company. The others were just a bunch of fools. Considering Yi Wanwan's attitude, Yang Jin Yuan frowned and didn't seem too happy about it. However, he could understand where Yi Wanwan was coming from. With Gong Su's temperament, Yi Bai could only let him be. Yang Jin Yuan seemed to have thought of something. He turned to Gong Su gravely and said, Gong Su, the impact from this incident is too severe that even the Ministry of Culture has been alerted. They have already called the headquarters, and Chairman Chu has already said that the company must be held accountable for this. If you insist on being uncooperative, the company has no choice but to make a decision. Gong Su narrowed his eyes. Are you threatening me? Yang Jin Yuan said coldly, Gong Su, this isn't a threat but a fact. In 3 days' time, the company will hold a press conference, and if you don't appear and apologize, I'm sorry, but the company can only put a halt on all your activities. Gong Su's eyes flickered slightly when he heard that. Yang Jin Yuan's attitude towards me doesn't seem right. Who gave him the courage to speak to me this way all of a sudden? He even threatened to kick me out. Unless something went wrong backstage? Gong Su was deep in thought. All of a sudden, his phone started ringing. It was a call from home. The moment he saw the caller ID, a bad feeling surfaced. Hello, what is it? Little bastard. Get home right away. On the other end of the receiver was his father trying to contain his anger. He hung up immediately after speaking. Gong Su muttered a curse under his breath. The old man had really interfered. An ear-piercing noise resounded as Gong Su dragged his chair and stood up. Whatever, do what you want. Chapter 686. 9 dragons wouldn't be able to hold him back. Gong Su didn't give Yang Jin Yuan any face as he left and immediately slammed the door. There was an awkward atmosphere in the conference room. Aside from Yi Bai, Gong Su didn't give face to anyone else in the company, not even Chu Hongguang. With that thought, Yang Jin Yuan calmed down. Let's end the meeting here. PR department, you are not to relax. Keep a close eye and don't let the issue worsen. Yang Jin Yuan ordered. Late at night, in a private VIP room of a certain bar, all the artists from Emperor Sky were having a party and everyone gathered to gloat. Ha ha ha, that Gong Su is definitely dead this time. Just some spit from everyone could kill him. Gong Su has his backer though. I'm afraid it won't be that easy to get rid of him, eh? Someone expressed his doubts. Somebody else with insider news whispered, don't you know? There are 3 sons in the Gong family and Gong Su is the second eldest son, the one who gets the least affection. With this incident being blown out of proportion, the Gong family's stock prices were affected and I just received news that Gong Su has been grounded at home. All his sources of income were cut off, and he will be sent overseas to a desolate country to work in a small subsidiary company. His days are over. Haha, that's why I said that he would cause his own death someday. Wan Shanshan was sitting next to Ling Xiaojia, and she poured some wine for him. She said with a look of contempt, Dazzling already issued a statement saying they would be holding a press conference in 3 days. TSK, he was so arrogant at the filming site before and now, he doesn't have his family to back him up anymore. He'll obediently apologize to you for sure. Exactly. How dare he compare himself to our Xiaojia? He's really shameless. If it wasn't for all that stinking money from his family, he wouldn't even be worth a fart. Hearing everyone's comments, Ling Xiaojia reclined on the sofa, delighted. The thought of Gong Su, who always suppressed him, bowing down and submitting to him, made him feel quite satisfied. Not only was he able to trample all over Gong Su from this incident, but the fury from his fans and the sympathy from passers-by led to a soaring of his popularity as well. Getting splashed by a single cup of coffee was totally worth it. There was no news of Gong Su ever since he returned home. After that, Tang Xinghua went to look for Yi Wanwan and Luo Chun, extremely worried about this issue. When Wan Shanshan posted the video on Weibo, Luo Chen immediately counterposted on Weibo to explain what really happened, but nobody believed him. Tang Xinghua sighed. Yi Ji, do you really not care? Yi Wanwan glanced at Tang Xinghua and didn't answer his question. Instead, she asked him, in your opinion, what kind of person do you think Gong Su is? Tang Xinghua coughed before answering truthfully, push him a little and he'll fly to the sky. He'll let loose so completely that even 9 dragons couldn't hold him back. He'll never admit defeat no matter what. He just wants to be arrogant and launch himself 90,000 miles away. Yi Wanwan chuckled. It's just as you say. She wasn't taking action immediately because firstly, she needed to wait for the right moment, and secondly, Gong Su was different from Luo Chun. He couldn't hold back and tolerate the hatred silently at all. It's impossible to use ordinary methods to deal with Gong Su, Yi Wanwan said. Tang Xinghua's head was aching. I understand this logic, but then Yi Ji. What should we do? The situation is really bad right now and Gong Su's completely fallen out with his family. In the past, he was arrogant and despotic, but right now, it goes without saying that the public will take this chance to strike him while he's down. If we continue to let him do whatever he wants and court death, the press conference tomorrow will definitely be a bust. Chapter 687. Big Bro, please let me off. Tang Xinghua was still probing Yi Wanwan for solutions when Luo Chun suddenly stared at his phone, aghast. Yi Ji, this is bad. Gong Su posted something else on Weibo. When Tang Xinghua heard that, his teeth started to hurt from grinding. Damn, what did that punk post this time? Tang Xinghua quickly opened Gong Su's main page and saw that Gong Su shared the post Dazzling had posted regarding the press conference where Gong Su would be repenting for his actions. He added a comment below. Apologize my ass. Middle finger emoji. Wow. Dazzling actually dared to push Gong Su into a corner and went ahead on announcing the press conference, declaring that he would be apologizing then. And Gong Su, in return, really dared to slap Dazzling in the face in front of everyone. Tang Xinghua's face was as black as the underside of a pot. Damn, this guy. Would it kill him to exercise some restraint? I already warned him before I came over. Yi Wanwan sat comfortably on the sofa. She glanced at the Weibo post Gong Su shared, and the corners of her lips curled upwards. After that, she tapped lightly on the share button and typed a few words. I'm with you. Tang Xinghua looked blankly at Yi Bai. He didn't try to talk Gong Su out of it, but even shared the post indicating his support for Gong Su, adding fuel to the fire. Tang Xinghua's eyes nearly popped out from their sockets. What the? Is Yi Bai infected by Gong Su, or something? Oh my god. Yi Ji, what are you doing? Sure. You said we can't use conventional methods to deal with Gong Su, but don't tell me that your unconventional method is to soar into the sky with him. Tang Xinghua was going crazy, but in the end, in the next second, he refreshed the page and another Weibo post appeared. Luo Chun, who was standing next to him, had shared Yi Wanwan's post with the same 3 words. I'm with you. Luo Chun held his phone and looked in Yi Wanwan's direction. His gaze was unwavering. Although he didn't know what Yi Bai's plan was, he would support him all the way without a doubt, no matter what his plan was. Tang Xinghua. He really had nothing to say. In the blink of an eye, it was the day of the press conference. After a few days of fermenting, this incident had reached the peak of its popularity. The venue of the press conference was completely packed and every media outlet was present. Nobody expected Gong Su to be present, but he was surprisingly punctual. If it was someone else, they would probably look tortured and haggard, and even if they weren't, they would definitely dress in black and pretend to be remorseful. However, after disappearing for a few days, Gong Su was still looking as charming and attractive as usual. He was wearing a flashy neon jacket, wasn't wearing any sunglasses or masks, and there wasn't a trace of remorse on his face at all. He simply appeared so brazenly like that in front of the press. On stage, Gong Su sat in the middle, and next to him were higher-ups from the PR department and General Manager Yang Jinyuan. On his left was Yi Wanwan, followed by Luo Chun. At this moment, Yang Jinyuan was feeling so much regret that his intestines were turning green. But Gong Su already said those words, and no matter what was going to happen, he could only bite the bullet. However, Yang Jinyuan was still struggling at his last breath. He leaned over to Yi Wanwan's ear and said, "Director Yi, do you think we could negotiate a little? You could convince Gong Su to pretend he's not feeling well, and we'll postpone the press conference." Gong Su rubbed his chin and grinned at Yang Jinyuan. Don't do that, Director Yang. Didn't you tell me to be present today? You were going to get rid of me if I didn't appear, right? See, aren't I a good boy? Yang Jinyuan, big bro, please let me off. Chapter 688. Who gave you the confidence initially? He assumed that as long as Gong Su didn't have his family backing him, he would definitely cower. But who knew that this guy would be so stubborn and unbeatable? Yang Jinyuan gritted his teeth, and a hint of gloominess appeared in his eyes. If things really turned ugly today, Dazzling could only get rid of Gong Su and cut all ties with him. This Yibai really didn't grasp the severity of the issue. He was still letting Gong Su do whatever he wanted at a time like this and thought Gong Su was still as well regarded as he was in the past. He acted like there wouldn't be any consequences even if Gong Su launched himself into the sky. Without the Gong family backing him, Gong Su was merely a paper tiger. The day of the press conference marked 5 days since Wan Shanshan first posted that video on Weibo. The entire incident happened because Gong Su went to the filming site of Terrifying Dragon 2 and bumped into his enemy, Ling Xiaozhe. Gong Su was the one who dirted Ling Xiaozhe's clothes, but in the end, he didn't apologize at all and even used his riches to insult him. He publicly poured coffee all over Ling Xiaozhe and used all kinds of verbal insults. There were 3 distinct types of netizens. The first kind hated the rich, the second kind sympathized with the weak, and the third kind were angry youths. When a spiteful person incited strong emotions in these groups, it could cause terrible violence. And for Gong Su's case, all 3 of these groups were active in bashing him. There was no need to fan the flames at all. A simple video would be enough to push him to where the wind and waves were strongest, making all the netizens condemn him. The past few days, there was an overwhelming number of posts with sensational titles such as "Stop Bullying in the Entertainment Industry," "Gong Su's Sociopathic Behavior," and "Banish the Scum of the Entertainment Industry." At first, Gong Su was just a brash and arrogant young man with tons of scandals that were normally considered small-scale. But today, this scandal was a clash of social classes, attracting the resentment of the entire country. Gossip was a fearful thing. With such ongoing discussions, Gong Su might be kicked out of showbiz, and his future could also be affected. Those seemingly invisible and harmless words were no less than the actions of a bloodthirsty slaughterer. Outside the hotel, angry fans and crowds held banners and surrounded the entire place. A few of Gong Su's residences had also fallen into their hands, and the headlines on all the gossip magazines along every street related to this incident. As the primary battlefield, the internet was permeated by smoke. Gong Su's personal Weibo was filled with insults, his personal homepage was blackened, he received death threats, and his fan groups and forums were bombarded with messages. Those who incited cyber violence didn't waste any opportunity to attack him, and at the same time, at the hotel, the press were using their pins as knives and each one of them was eager to carve a chunk of meat off Gong Su. Reporter, Gong Su, as we all know, the feud between you and Ling Xiaozhe has been long-standing. Ling Xiaozhe maintains a low profile and has never instigated a dispute with you. This time, it was just a small conflict in the beginning, yet you trampled and wantonly insulted his dignity. You were also unapologetic for your wrongdoings as you have a strong backing. I would like to know just who gave you that unrestrained confidence, Is it the company behind you or your backing, Grand Million Group? It was clear that the reporters wanted to start a war and implicate Dazzling, as well as the Gong family in order to intensify the issue. Gong Su let out a chuckle. When he lifted that domineering face of his, he made sure to speak every single word clearly. Who gave me the confidence? I, Gong Su, am letting you know that even if my old man cuts ties with me, even if the company kicks me out, even if I'm left with no fans at all, I'll still say the same thing. Want me to apologize? Sure, in the next life. Gong Su grabbed the fan by his collar, raised his fist, and was about to rain punches on his face. Every media outlet present immediately picked up their cameras, eager to enjoy this big show. Gong Su. An icy voice rang out behind him faintly, calling Gong Su's name. Gong Su immediately stopped his craziness. However, his breathing was messy and heavy. He still gripped onto that fan's hand tightly, clearly on the edge of losing control and flying into a rage. Yuanwan wrapped her arm with a bandage provided by staff and said slowly, "Come back?" Chapter 691. Apologize to Gong Su. Damn. He actually wants Ling Xiaojia to apologize to Gong Su? Has he lost his mind? How could someone be so unreasonable? No wonder Ling Xiaojia didn't even dare to make a sound when he was bullied by Gong Su. These people are simply too shameless. Even a humble and low-profile artist like Ling Xiaojia was bullied like that. I wonder how others were tyrannized by Gong Su. I think Luo Chun was definitely forced to protect Gong Su this time. Everybody knows how terrible their relationship is. Gong Su always bullies Luo Chun. So how is it possible that Luo Chun stood up for Gong Su? TSK, they can't even draft their lies properly. I want to see how this Yibai is going to fabricate more lies. Following what Yuanwan said, the entire hall was in chaos and everyone was criticizing dazzling media. Yuanwan didn't say anything more as she sat there indifferently and took out a small USB. She then walked to the stage and inserted the USB into the computer. Everyone, please take a look at this video clip. Video clip? What's Yibai planning? Everyone turned to the screen immediately. Who knows? Let's just watch. I don't think he can still wriggle his way out of this one now. Yeah. Yuanwan skipped to roughly the middle of the video before pressing play, and the video started playing on the big screen in front of everyone. Gong Su, what are you doing? Now, this outfit belongs to me. Young master here is splashing coffee on my own outfit. Is it any of your business? What are you yelling for? You? What about me? Didn't you say we just have to pay up? What are you waiting for? Take it off. Is young master's outfit so comfortable? Huh? The video that was playing was from when Gong Su was bullying other artists that day. The video Wan Shanshan posted on Weibo. Watching this clip ignited fury in everyone once again. What's this manager Yi trying to do? Isn't bullying enough? She still wants all of us to recall how shameless her artist is. Huh? What's the meaning of this? Why did you make us watch the video Wan Shanshan posted again? Who wants to see that disgusting face of Gong Su? Many reporters were angered, but there was a group of experienced reporters who realized that something didn't seem right. Weird, this video doesn't seem to be the one Wan Shanshan posted. How is it different? Isn't it the same? It's exactly the same, Look carefully. The content is the same, but the angle is different. This video was taken by a different person. Also, why did Yibai choose to play it from the middle? An old reporter was suspicious. Maybe there was someone else at the scene who recorded it as well but was obstructed by Gong Su's tyrannical abuse, so he or she didn't dare to post it. What's so weird about it? Shortly after, the video stopped playing. Yi Wanwan's gaze scanned across everyone present. It was this video that caused Gong Su to be pinned on the hanging post for being despicable. After that, Wan Shanshan, Ling Xiaojia, and all the other Emperor Sky artists who were present had their so-called irrefutable testimonies obliterating all our explanations before the earth-shattering curses and online violence started to rain down on Gong Su. Yi Wanwan paused before she continued. But what is the truth of the matter? Almost nobody bothered to pursue it, and because everyone assumed he was heinous, he must actually be heinous, right? You thought this must be the truth. Chapter 692. Truth of the matter. After saying that, Yuanwan looked at the computer screen again. There was a light click of the mouse, and this time, she didn't play the video from the middle. Instead, she directly clicked the replay button and played the video from the beginning. In the video, it was obvious that the setting was still the filming site of Terrifying Dragon 2. Ling Xiaojia, Wan Shanshan, and a few artists from Emperor Sky were gathered around, gossiping. During their conversation, they said things like has been and best kept under the table to ridicule Luo Chun. Luo Chen's assistant was about to step forward to interrupt them, but Luo Chun stopped her eventually. Luo Chun didn't say a word and walked towards his own seat. However, at this exact moment, a red circle appeared in the video, indicating that it was Wan Shanshan's feet. Hence, all the media witnessed that in the next second, Wan Shanshan stretched out her leg on purpose to trip Luo Chun. The cup of coffee in Luo Chen's hand swayed and accidentally spilled onto Ling Xiaojia's clothes. What happened after that left the agitated media dumbfounded and shocked. Nobody expected that Luo Chen's explanation on Weibo was true. Such a short clip revealed a completely different truth. Nobody thought the truth was actually like this. Wan Shanshan, who seemed undaunted on the surface, deliberately acted provocative online. All those artists from Emperor Sky who stood up were probably accessories to a tyrant's crime, acting in cahoots with Wan Shanshan. The biggest victim, Ling Xiaojia, was actually the real bully of this entire incident. Gong Su, who was attacked, criticized, and insulted by countless netizens, passers-by, and media, was merely trying to stand up for his colleague and couldn't stand to let Ling Xiaojia bully others. Gong Su's actions were exactly the same. Yet everyone felt that he had a big heart after watching it together with the first part of the video. After the clip ended, the entire hall fell into a pin-drop silence and no one made a sound. Every reporter had reddened faces. They looked at one another and didn't know what to say at all. They boasted about being righteous and denounced Gong Su by word and pen for several days, but in the end, they actually got the wrong guy. On the contrary, the person whom they were protecting was the true shameless villain, the real tyrant who bullied others. Yi Wanwan's gaze was icy and sharp as she scanned the faces of every reporter present. This is the so-called victim that all of you were protecting? This is the crusade for justice that all of you were bragging about? Huh? This is the explanation all of you wanted. I wonder if everyone is satisfied now? Listening to the sharp words spoken by Yi Wanwan, the reporters were embarrassed. How did this happen? Cough, cough, a misunderstanding. So it was all a misunderstanding. The reporter who condemned and cursed Gong Su and Yuanwan earlier stuttered, but you can't really blame us, right? Who would have known that this would be the truth? We're just reporters, after all, not the police, right? It's inevitable we made such a mistake. When Yuanwan heard that, she strode towards that reporter, step by step. What do you want? As the reporter felt an intense pressure from her, he was forced to take a step back. Yi Wanwan glared at the reporter and retorted, "Qu'est-ce? Not police? Since all of you aren't the police, who are you to replace the police, take over the law, incite the masses, instigate cyber violence, and punish an innocent artist? Didn't you say very confidently earlier that with great power comes great responsibility? Since this is the case, as the media, all of you control the public's opinion, have the greatest power of speech, and even control the future of an artist. Then isn't it your duty and responsibility to seek the truth? But right now, the power of reporters and the media is being used to produce vulgar nonsense to please the crowds and increase views on your sites, a weapon to destroy others. Who gave you the right to do that?" You hid behind the screen, tapped away on the keyboard, and said all kinds of extremely vicious words about a stranger you barely knew, and personally destroyed someone else's life just in order to vent. to follow suit with everyone else, and maybe even just because of boredom. After you found out the truth, you simply brushed it off as a misunderstanding and minor mistake to counteract all you did to an innocent victim. So this is the attitude of the media, huh? All of you shameless media responsible for unrestrained cyber violence. Aren't you guys the garbage and scum of society? Could this reporter here and everyone else present today please answer my question? Each of you Wanwan's words was as sharp as a knife. I, the reporter stuttered. He broke out in sweat and couldn't say a word. There was a dead silence, and none of the reporters made a sound. Gong Su stared at Yi Bai's face from beginning till end, watching his icy cold yet extremely reassuring expression, watching him reverse the endless hatred on him all by himself. His heart surged uncontrollably. Yi Wanwan paused and finally said, "As for the malicious slander against my artist, Gong Su, Dazzling Media reserves the right to pursue legal action against Wan Shanshan, Ling Xiaojia, and all the other artists from Emperor Sky involved in this incident." The other higher-ups from Dazzling Media finally returned to their senses at this moment. We will hand over the rest of the matter to the legal department. This is the end of today's press conference. If you have any further questions, please arrange another meeting next time. Please leave the venue in an orderly manner, everyone. Yang Jinyuan was stunned and gasped in amazement as he looked at Yi Bai, who was young and even seemed inexperienced. He never thought Yi Bai could turn the situation around and save Gong Su. He even left the media speechless. At this moment, all the other staff members were probably thinking the same thing. They could already imagine what would happen after today's press conference was posted. Our director Yi is too awesome. He actually kept this ultimate move to himself. I understand now. It seems like Emperor Sky was trying to mess with us this time, but in fact, they were all thrashed by our director Yi. Emperor Sky is really unlucky this time. It's definitely over for Wan Shanshan, and Ling Xiaojia will lose his popularity. There were also over 10 other artists dragged into this as well. Let's go. Yi Wanwan's eyes turned slightly gentler as she looked at Gong Su and Luo Chun. Oh, Gong Su returned to his senses after a very long time. He stood up and followed behind Yi Wanwan obediently while Luo Chun walked next to him with his eyes still fixated on the youth. That night, the highly anticipated outcome of the press conference on the Gong Su bullying incident was finally revealed. The entire course of events was uploaded on the internet. After the truth was out, the entire internet was in an uproar. After the press conference, dozens of newspapers and magazines that originally misled the public and criticized Gong Su issued apologies, which caused a huge sensation across the entire internet, which had never happened before. Every article covered the drastic turn of events this time, and the headlines looked like, "Cyber violence is a kind of bullying," and "Death of Media." Against bullying, but they became the bullies instead. Finally, even the public's opinion of Gong Su changed completely. The headlines became "Restoring the Real Gong Su" and "Gong Su, the last clear stream in the entertainment industry." Chapter 694. Have some sense of shame. Previously, there was already quite a number of incidents like this. Netizens were misled by false information and started wars. After the truth came to light, it was usually too late to reverse the damage done to the victim. This time, because of Gong Su's fame and influence, the incident had huge repercussions. The entire internet launched into a discussion, and everybody reflected on it. The terrible thing about cyber violence was that nobody cared about the truth. The acts of righteousness committed by those unclear about the truth were more dreadful than real evildoers. Please do not comment on things you don't know, because what you see may not be the whole truth. The public's opinion would never represent the truth. At the same time, Gong Su's reputation had been reversed overnight, and Dazzling Media's reputation improved greatly. Meanwhile, Emperor Sky Entertainment landed in hot water. In Emperor Sky's conference room, the PR director, Jiang Huasun, was enraged and thundered. "Wan Shanshan, you idiot! What were you thinking? Over 10 artists from Emperor Sky were dragged down by you this time. Forget about all you B and C list artists. Xiaojia was implicated as well. What should we do now, huh?" "Jiang, Director Jiang, I didn't know. I didn't know that Yi Bai would have the full video. Tears covered Wan Shanshan's face and her shoulders shuddered. She was cursing Yi Bai 1,000,000 times over in her heart. These people praised me when I posted the video that time and even used every method to add fuel to the fire, but now they're actually pushing all the blame onto me. But she couldn't say a word. She turned to the top managers and begged, Sis Zhang, Director Zhang, please help me. I only posted that video to stand up for Xiaozhe. The man's face was gloomy. There was no way he could keep Wan Shanshan anymore. As for Ling Xiaozhe, he could only get him to say that he didn't know anything and force Wan Shanshan to take the fall. He had to reduce the impact as much as possible, otherwise, he wouldn't know how to answer Chairman Gu and Director Yi. Jiang Huasan came to a decision very swiftly. Wan Shanshan, because of your personal grudge, you incited trouble on purpose, then lied to your colleagues and slandered Gong Su. Go and issue an apology right now and announce your withdrawal from showbiz forever. Wan Shanshan's expression changed and she screamed. She was merely a C-list actress, and in a situation like this, she would definitely be the one sacrificed. She should have known this. Wan Shanshan was finally terrified. Facing the indifferent gazes of the higher-ups, she panicked and rushed over to Ling Xiaozhe. Xiaozhe, help me. You must help me. I did it for you? Ling Xiaozhe scrolled through the overwhelming amount of criticism on his phone and was already very frustrated. So when he heard what Wan Shanshan said, he exploded in fury instantly. Get lost. You were the one who acted on your own initiative and dragged me into this mess. What does your fate have to do with me? A black car drove steadily on the road. Yi Wanwan, Gong Su, and Luo Chun just ended their meeting at the office. Dong's I was driving, and on the passenger seats, Yi Wanwan sat in the middle, while on her left was Luo Chun and on her right was Gong Su, who was busy scrolling through Weibo. Gong Su, the last clear stream in the entertainment industry. Gong Su, a true hero. Ah, Gong Su, you're the purest, the most genuine, the most flamboyant, the cutest. Gong Su scanned through the posts and just had to read the shameless praise out loud. He rolled around in his seat excitedly. Young Master has never been complimented this way before. Aya. So young Master is actually so lovable, eh? Certainly, you'll definitely shine if you're gold. Hee hee. Yi Wanwan really didn't want to admit that the idiot next to her was her artist. Where's your sense of shame? Chapter 695. I'll marry you for sure. When Gong Su was done rolling around, he sat upright and looked at Yi Wanwan with glistening eyes, then stared at her without blinking. E.g., you're too cool. If I was a woman, I'd marry you for sure. No. Even though I'm a guy, I'd like to marry you as well. Hoo. The corners of Yi Wanwan's lips twitched. Can this guy have some class? Can he be half as reserved as Luo Chen? Yi Wanwan continued looking in the direction where the discussion was going online, and to her surprise, she found something unexpected. Yi Wanwan. What is it? What is it? Gong Su immediately leaned over to probe like a curious baby. Yi Wanwan raised her brows and glanced at both Gong Su and Luo Chen a couple times. This is quite a great idea. What great idea? Yi, what are you talking about? Gong Su mumbled. He sensed that the way Yi was looking at him was a little creepy. Yi Wanwan chuckled. This incident has gotten you and Luo Chen a big batch of, CP1 fans. Gong Su was stunned. What? CP fans? Yi, did you get it wrong? How could I possibly have CP fans with a man? Luo Chen was confused as well. Yi Wanwan. Read it yourself. The two of them followed Yi Wanwan's gaze and looked at her phone. Immediately, they saw some comments which made them feel quite unsure. Oh God. I just watched the video again. My little tyrant Gong is too dashing. Too manly. I'm a fan now. My legs go wobbly just looking at his arrogant self. The comments in front were still quite normal and Gong Su enjoying reading them, but once they reached the end, the comments didn't seem right anymore. I thought Gong Su and Luo Chen were at odds with each other at first. So, it's a love-hate relationship, huh? Feels like someone shielding his wife? Gong Su is definitely deeply in love with Luo Chan. I'll eat this dog food willingly. Gong Su's face darkened as he read. What nonsense is this? What do they mean? What love-hate relationship? Shielding his wife? What dog food? Luo Chen's face was darker than Gong Su's. Although he didn't follow anything online closely, he still understood what these people meant. Damn it, are these people blind? They actually said I'm gay. And with this dork. Gong Su exploded in anger and bellowed all of a sudden. Am I someone with no morals, huh? Even if I'm gay, I'll only be with Yi Ji, alright? Why don't you just shut up? Yi Wanwan glanced at him, expressionless. Sorry, even if I was into men, it wouldn't be you. Gong Su was dumbfounded and looked as if he just received a big blow. Damn. Why? Why not me? I'm so handsome. I kill both men and women with my looks. Yi Ji, how's your arm? Should we go to the hospital to take a look at it? At this moment, Luo Chan was staring at Yi Wanwan's arm, worried. Chapter 696, Raging Sea of Jealousy, Yi Ji. We've arrived, Dong Zai announced. All right, you two have an early night. I'll get going. Yi Wanwan got out of the car hurriedly. Luo Chen lived in the block next to her, and after saying goodbye, he entered the building. Yi Ji, Gong Su wanted to say something to Yi Wanwan initially, but she had already left. Gong Su looked strangely at Yi Bai as he got off urgently. What happened? I haven't seen that look on his face before. It's as if a great enemy is approaching. Yi Wanwan rushed to see Yi Han. Cough Agio. When did you come over? Why are you standing here? Why didn't you go inside instead? It's so cold out here. Yi Wanwan spoke while she tried to calm herself down. Yi Han rarely paid any attention to the gossip online, so he definitely didn't know about what happened at the press conference. This little injury of hers would become a scar within a day or two, and it didn't matter even if he found out by then. Yi Wanwan reasoned through everything very well, however. The moment she finished speaking, the man standing before her looked at her plainly and said, You've broken the rules, Yi Wanwan. It was as if that voice came from a snow-capped mountain that was 5 kilometers above sea level. She felt so cold that her body trembled uncontrollably, and all her hope shattered instantly. It was simply naive of her to attempt to bluff her way out with Yi Han. As Yi Han had been so lenient these past few days, she had forgotten how terrifying this man could be. At this moment, he didn't have a single tinge of warmth on his body. His gaze was cold and foreboding. It seemed like he was really angry. Sorry, it was an accident this time, but it was just a small injury. Look at it if you don't believe me. In order to prove it, Yi Wanwan quickly lifted her sleeve and revealed that the little wound wasn't even an inch wide. However, Yi Wanwan quickly realized what a huge mistake she was making. After seeing her wound, Yi Han's face became scarier and she caught a glimpse of the Yi Han she knew from before her rebirth. The one who was irrational and didn't have any emotions, like a wild beast that could lose control anytime. Yi Wanwan realized she had been too relaxed recently and had forgotten how scary this person was. Yi Han's gaze was colder than the moonlight above. He continued staring at her as he said, Do you like him? Who? Yi Wanwan was stunned by his question that came out of nowhere. It took her a good few seconds to realize who he was referring to. Damn. What a huge misunderstanding. Yi Han wouldn't think there's something going on between me and Gong Su, right? How is that possible? How exactly did such a frightening misunderstanding arise? Yi Wanwan was racking her brains for a way to explain and appease him, but right at this moment, Gong Su's loud voice resounded from behind her. Yi Ji, why did you run off so quickly? My villa is too far away, and I'm too lazy to go back. I got Dong Zai to take the car. I'll sleep with you tonight instead. The second Gong Su's words came out. Yi Wanwan felt an intangible and ominous wind from hell rising up. What the hell do you mean? Sleep with me tonight? All these artists she was grooming were all so troublesome. and this one was simply driving her to her death. Yi Wanwan's face was rigid. No way. Go back to where you're supposed to be. Seeing that Yi Wanwan had rejected him without any hesitation, Gong Su's face fell. Why? I'm already here anyway. Just take me in. Yi Wanwan suppressed the fury within. I have a guest tonight. Chapter 697. Can only use the ultimate move. Gong Su stretched his head and looked over. It was only then that he finally noticed the figure hidden in the shadows. Why does this person look so familiar? Gong Su only caught a glimpse of his face outside the bar that night, but because he left such a deep impression, he couldn't forget him even if he wanted to. Isn't that the friend who went to fetch Yiji that night? That time, he almost misunderstood Yiji's relationship with that man. Why is this person at Yiji's place at this hour? And why is this person looking at me with such a terrifying gaze? Even though Gong Su felt that something was off, he was thick-skinned and in a terrific mood that night, so he didn't think much of it and walked over to Yi Wanwan. He spoke in a generous and easygoing manner. No problem, it's fine if you have a guest. He won't be staying long anyway, right? I don't mind. Don't mind your butt. Yi Wanwan. At this very moment, Yi Wanwan had a strong urge to strangle this fool. She took a careful glance at Si Yi Han. Just a glance, and that expression made her heart jump in fear. Si Yi Han's gaze brushed past Yi Wanwan and Gong Su, and he said in a low and hoarse voice, "Guest?" When Yi Wanwan saw Si Yi Han's expression and heard the tone he used, she knew he was raging mad. Yi Wanwan had a headache and supported her head with her hand as she wailed in anguish inside. "Beauty baby, why are you throwing a tantrum now? You clearly know that because of my disguise, that was the only answer I could give. There was no other meaning to it. And if Si Yi Han thought hard, he should know that she couldn't just leave him there and run off with Gong Su to cheat on him, right? Also, he shouldn't have so little confidence in himself, right? Darn it, it must be because Xia mentioned that wildflowers would gradually dazzle the eyes and said I would eventually be seduced by young and fresh meat in the entertainment industry. Yi Wanwan moved in a little closer and spoke at a volume that was audible only to the two of them. Si Yi Han, I've already explained this many times. No matter whether it's Luo Chun or Gong Su, they are just my artists and I saved him during the press conference today because it was my responsibility. What he said just now was only due to the fact that I am a man in his eye. There's no other meaning to it. It doesn't make sense for you to be jealous over this. Can you stop being unreasonable? Tisk, unreasonable. Very well then. Si Yi Han chuckled and spoke slowly in a frosty tone that caused her to shudder. Yi Wanwan wanted to slap herself. Why did I say the wrong thing again? Seriously, the more flustered I am, the more mistakes I make. She knew she couldn't reason things out with this person standing before her. It was the same logic used as when one's girlfriend was angry. One shouldn't try to reason with her. Yi Wanwan was mad, anxious, and vexed all at the same time. She had a stomach full of anger, and she loosened the tie around her neck in annoyance. After that, her eyes shot straight towards the culprit not far off. Gong Su, get over here. Me? What is it? Gong Su pointed at himself innocently and made his way over carefully. Why does Yiji look so scary? Did I do something wrong? Yi Wanwan threw her tie on the ground, then strode over to the icy-looking great devil, who was on the verge of exploding. Watch this carefully. Yi Wanwan tilted her head to gesture at Gong Su, then as she stretched her fair and delicate hand out, grabbed Si Yi Han's collar, lowered his neck, and kissed his thin and cool lips forcefully. Chapter 698. You're not seeing things. I'm into Min. Si Yi Han probably didn't expect Yi Wanwan would kiss him all of a sudden. As her breath closed in on him and enveloped him, when her slender fingers tugged his collar with force, when her soft and warm lips touched his, that force deep inside him that nearly tore him apart was immediately soothed. Shortly after, it turned into a more reckless and heated emotion. At this point, there was a loud explosion in Gong Su's head. He was flabbergasted. His car keys and phone in his hand fell to the ground. He stood there in a daze and his mouth was open so wide that it could fit an egg inside. Shit, 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 shit. What did I just see? My eyes. Yiji just voluntarily kissed a man. What is going on here? I must be crazy. No. There must have been something wrong with the way he got out of the car just now. Gong Su watched as the two men kissed, and he was in total confusion. All the hairs on his body were on end. After Yi Wanwan was done kissing the man, she turned to Gong Su casually and asked, "Did you see that?" Gong Su was stunned for a good 10 seconds before he nodded, then shook his head. Finally, he held his head and took 2 steps back. He couldn't even speak coherently anymore as he said, Yiji, you guys are you playing around with me? Ha ha ha. Is it April Fool's today? It must be too dark here, or maybe I'm just too excited tonight, so I developed some hallucinations. That must be it. That must be, ha 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 ha. Yi Wanwan, you weren't seeing things. I'm into men. Yi Wanwan's reply completely destroyed all the excuses Gong Su came up with. Gong Su. Yi Wanwan. He's not a guest. He's my boyfriend. We're lovers. Gong Su. Yi Wanwan. So I can't have you over tonight. Do you get it now? Gong Su. Poor Gong Su. As the amount of new information was massive, he was totally dumbstruck. After a long time, Gong Su finally got some of his sanity back. He swallowed hard and spoke in utter disbelief. Yiji, are you for real? You're really into men? Didn't you say you have a girlfriend? Luochen and Mu Fanji said you have a girlfriend and that you're definitely not gay. Yi Wanwan, I am. I said I have a girlfriend only as a cover. Luochen and Han Xian, you have no idea about this. Yi Wanwan didn't expect that after she racked her brains and had been so careful all this time that she would actually stumble from Gong Su. Truly, a weak teammate did you more harm than a strong enemy. It was most crucial to pacify the great devil, and in order to pacify Si Han, she didn't care what she had to do anymore. Gong Su stood rooted to the ground, and his expression was hard to describe. So you're saying that you and this guy are really having that kind of relationship? Yi Wanwan nodded. That's right. Didn't you ask me before if I was into men and what kind I would like? Now I'll officially introduce you to my boyfriend. Yi Wanwan made it so plain and clear that Gong Su had to believe her, even if he didn't before. The shadow in his heart spread like the sea. My manager is actually really gay. Chapter 699. Want to be held captive by you for life? Give Dong Zai a call and get him to drive the car back. Go home early and get some rest. Yi Wanwan held Si Yi Han's hand after speaking. She turned around and walked towards the apartment building immediately. Wait. Behind her, Gong Su stood in the cold night, dumbfounded. Rest my ass. How am I going to fall asleep tonight? So, bro, are you just going to leave me here all alone? At this current moment, he finally believed Yiji was really into men. This was truly the act of hose before brothers. What was with this strange and miserable feeling of abandonment? Ding. The elevator arrived, and Yi Wanwan pulled Si Han to enter it. The two of them stood in silence in the elevator. Neither of them spoke a word. Si Han's gaze was on her the whole time. Shortly after, they arrived and walked out of the lift together. It was only after they reached the door that Yi Wanwan let go of his hand and pulled out the keys to open the door. Si Han followed behind her and entered. Click. The front door opened and was shut again. Change into slippers. Yi Wanwan bent over and took out a pair of slippers for Si Han from the shoe cabinet. The moment she stood up, she felt a tight grip around her waist. His burning breath suddenly came over her and attacked all her senses at once. His canine teeth brushed across her tender lips and pried open her jaw aggressively to rob more and more of her gentleness and sweetness. Hey, Yi Wanwan was in pain. Her brows furrowed slightly, and she took a step back. However, This careless dodge immediately attracted even more intense aggression. Her body was pressed against the ice-cold wall behind her. In front of her was his boiling chest that was rising and falling violently. It was as if his entire body had been engulfed in fire and ice for 2 whole days. His slightly rough fingers explored her hips and shifted upwards slowly from her soft yet strong waist. To be safe, Yuanwan's chest area was usually bound by a piece of cloth, and his fingers were obstructed. Han became even more agitated because of this, and his hands moved with more force. Yuanwan was helpless. She tilted her head slightly to avoid his kiss, placed her fingers on the back of his hand, and soothed him gently. Still angry? I actually disregarded my own image and came out of the closet in front of my own artist just for you. Han lowered his gaze and stared straight at her. Those black pupils were akin to a vortex in the deep sea, dangerous yet captivating. Han, you're not allowed to look at him. This isn't very reasonable, is it? How can I not look at him? Do I cover my eyes each time I see him? But Yuanwan learned to be good this time, and no matter how unreasonable Han's request was, she simply nodded her head nonstop. I won't. Other than you, whether human or not, they're just fleeting clouds, all right? Furthermore, what's there to look at? He hurts my eyes. Gong Su, who was still bitterly waiting downstairs for his assistant to drive back, sneezed loudly all of a sudden. Han tightened his grip on her and warned her in an icy tone. Don't forget the consequences of violating the agreement. When Yuanwan heard his foreboding and cold voice, she was supposed to be petrified, but her heart softened instead and she giggled softly. The corners of her lips lifted into a languid smile. And? What will happen? A lifetime of captivity? I suddenly really want to violate the agreement. Chapter 700. Quick, kiss me. Hearing her reply, heat waves immediately emerged in Han's obsidian-colored eyes. The heat was enough to melt a person. Yuanwan could clearly see the desire to rush out of the water gate from his eyes. Oops. Oh dear. I went too far. The moment Han's mouth approached her again, Yuanwan hurriedly smushed her head onto his chest and said pitifully, I was so busy the whole day that I haven't eaten anything. I'm so hungry. I want to have some noodles, but my hand hurts. Han looked at her quietly from a distance, so close that she could smell his breath. How could he not know what Yuanwan was thinking about? She was so daring to stir up his emotions, then quickly run away each time. He bit her lips hard, then strode over to the fridge. The apron is hanging at the side of the fridge. I'll get it for you. Yuanwan skipped over cleverly and took out a pink apron that was a free gift from the supermarket with the image of Hello Kitty printed on it. Han looked disapprovingly at the apron and was obviously very unwilling to put it on. But seeing Yuanwan holding it up with eager expectations, he finally held his arms open. Yeah, wait a minute. Do you know how to cook noodles? Yuanwan suddenly asked. Han shot her a look of disdain out of the corners of his eyes. Yuanwan smiled guiltily and said, all right, my bad. How could you not know how to cook noodles, right? Han had just entered the kitchen when Yuanwan's phone started ringing suddenly. The caller ID indicated that it was Sue. Yuanwan answered the call. Hello? Housekeeper Sue? The second the call was connected, Sue's urgent voice came through the receiver. Miss Wanwan, are you all right? I'm already at your apartment building. 11 and Feng Xianyi are on the way as well. Please hang in there. Calm down and don't be rash. Yuanwan was totally confused. Huh? What are you talking about? What happened? Sui was taken aback by her questions. What happened? Isn't Master there yet? He raced over at a speed of 400 yards per hour, so he should be there by now. Raced over at a speed of 400 yards per hour. Master saw the video of you getting injured to protect Gong Su, and the worst part was the nonsensical comments appearing everywhere, saying things like you and Gong Su were very compatible. How can two men be compatible? What are these netizens thinking about? Sui spoke at his fastest speed and explained what happened. His voice shook the whole time. That, housekeeper Sue, Miss Wan Wan. When Master finds you later, please remain calm, all right? We'll be arriving very soon. Sui urged repeatedly. Yuan coughed lightly and interrupted him again. Housekeeper Sue, please calm down a little and let me say something, okay? When Yuan was done speaking, she tapped on the video icon and changed it to a video call. Then she directed the camera to the kitchen. In the next second, Sui saw his own master wearing a pink cartoon apron around his waist in the kitchen. The sleeves of his white shirt were rolled up messily, and he had a spatula in his hand. Then, in the video call, Sui froze. Yuan stood up and brought the phone to Si-Han. Baby, look at me. Si-Han turned to Yuan, and all he saw was her holding the phone to his face. Sui seemed to be in the small box on the screen. Yuan hopped over to Si-Han and angled the front camera so both Si-Han and herself fit in the frame. Quick, kiss me. Your housekeeper is going nuts. Chapter 701. He was really very calm already. Si-Han obviously wouldn't care about the details of his housekeeper going nuts, and only heard the first part when Yuan said, Quick, kiss me. He placed the noodles into the pot calmly, then leaned his head over slightly and planted a kiss on Yuan's cheeks cooperatively. After that, he continued cutting the ham sausage. Yuan grinned and looked at her phone. Are you calmer now, housekeeper Sue? Sui, calm, too calm. Yuan, is there anything else? Sui, no. Sorry to interrupt the both of you. Just pretend I wasn't here at all. The screen went black. A certain housekeeper was both mentally and physically traumatized and hung up the call. In order to let Sui feel more at ease, Yuan thoughtfully sent him several photos of Si-Han cooking. In the end, Sui had to beg her to stop sending. He was really very calm already. After waiting a long time, Si-Han was finally done cooking the noodles. Yuan looked at the soup noodles on the dining table and raised her brows, slightly taken aback. The noodles were cooked with perfect timing. They weren't too soft or half-cooked. There was a sunny side up and a few slices of ham sausage lying on top, and green onion and fresh vegetables floated on top of the soup, making it look extremely appetizing. For the Si-Han who was above common mortals, she didn't have very high expectations for his cooking and only thought he knew how to make food edible. In the end, he was actually pretty good. Si-Han passed her a pair of chopsticks and sat across her at the dining table without a word. Looks really good. Huh. You actually know how to cook noodles. When did you learn it? Yuan took a bite and her eyes glistened. Wow. It's really delicious. Si-Han was seemingly unhappy with Yuan's choice of words. Do I need to learn? Yuan buried her head and slurped the noodles. No need, no need. It's just a simple task. With my baby's IQ, why would he need to learn? Hearing that, Si-Han's expression and gentler. At the same time, Jean Garden. The chef and several servants at Jean Garden looked at the blackened stoves and the mess on the kitchen floor with tears streaming down their faces. Each one of them prayed and hoped that the ninth master would let the kitchen off. How many times has he caused an explosion? Why does our master have so many terrifying hobbies all of a sudden? This is tiring. At night, Si-Han stayed overnight at her apartment. Yuan removed her makeup, showered, and changed into her soft pajamas. Meanwhile, Si-Han already made himself comfortable lying on the bed. This feeling of eating my fill and having a beauty on my bed is too perfect. Seeing that Yuan was coming over, Si-Han placed the book in his hands down. Give me your hand. Yuan quickly pacified him. It's really just a small injury and it's already healing. I used plastic wrap to protect it while bathing, and it didn't get wet at all. Si-Han checked over and over again before he eased up. Yuan stared at the man's concentrating face. You're going to Old Son's for a checkup tomorrow, right? Si-Han. And Yuan mumbled, your health has been quite stable recently and you don't really have a problem falling asleep anymore. There shouldn't be any big issues. But why did Old Son look so strange before? It seemed as if he had something he couldn't say, and he didn't explain when I asked him. He only said that he would discuss it further after this upcoming checkup. Could it be that there are some other problems with Han's health again? You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.